Welcome, if you're joining us for the ill-fated session 30.
Holy shit.
Been a while. That was a robot
Almost 8
woo.
months of
Badass.
games.
Mhm.
Sorry.
It
Was
was
it?
good. It was like
It must have been trying because it was so low. It must have been trying to figure out if it was real sound or not.
Yeah, so we're getting up there in session number. We're getting up there as far as time that we've been playing together, and it's been a fun ride. We're still on the train, and we are not even close to getting off. So everyone, let's
going back to High Rock.
get ourselves in our booster seats, our sippy cups, and let's go ahead and enjoy.
I love how every time Steven's not here, we're like, hey guys, let's just go back to High Rock.
Dude, if he came back and we were in High Rock, he would quit the campaign. He'd be over.
Probably,
I'm done.
yeah. Steven would probably just say, "I'm not here. I'm not here
We
anymore."
became the
You know,
honorary dukes of High Rock.
I'm the honorary duke. Okay, so recap, right? So we went into the marshes. We went into the marshes with this idea of kind of circling around and trying to hit factions, the cultures of people, right? So we started off at the Altar of Flowers and the Salinar Grove, which is the Talus Grove, right? Centered around this large tree that had these powers that seemed to be rather much like a hive mind, this collective with the Salinar. They resembled elves, but they were not any sort of sub-race or subspecies, right? That you all could kind of recognize. Then Maldor, you decided to take it upon a gift, right, provided by Talus. Unclear of what that could do, but it had some effect in a fight that would happen later on, right? From there, we had met Trisha. Trisha skeptical, right, of what Trisha was there with us. Why was Trisha there? Pretty much the entire time. Trisha had accompanied you all, and we went from there to the Bullywugs, to the Muckluck, and we went from the Muckluck, and we had a slight encounter with the bats, and we had decided from that point on to continue to press to our next destination, which was supposed to be the Ivrai Lake. That was kind of be the general direction. If we make that arc around right through the marshes, we were heading towards what we believed were rangers, right? If the rangers were left, or the collective of these tribes of rangers, if they were still alive, they'd be around Ivrai Lake, right? And that's where we need to go. Now, I don't want to call anybody out. There's a series of clicking sounds happening, so I don't know. I don't know
I was about to say, someone's on a typewriter right now.
Yeah, it sounds like a typewriter. So if you're clicking or something, or clicking your mouse, maybe, I don't know. I know, Brendan, your mic picks everything up, so could be yours. But so from that, we were not there yet, but we had traversed across a tributary in the marshland, and we were beginning to make strong headway before we were ambushed. We're ambushed by these lizard folks that were decayed and frayed, right? We have had experience with them, and the bat, which we now have a name for, right? We don't call it a bat, but Nightwing is the name. During this fight, Varys, you had perished, and you were brought back as an undead creature. And then the gift that Maldor had been provided becomes clear, and that, Varys, you were commanded by Maldor to essentially become an ally, right? So, still with all the capabilities you had before in your former form, you were able to defeat Nightwing along with the rest of your party. Destroying this creature was an achievement in itself, but I feel like that achievement was drowned out by the fact that you had to make a deal to come back, Varys. You were killed from your undead form, your soul, your spirit, your mind trapped, perhaps claimed by Orsivis. Orsivis stated two things. in the agreement, one of which was to leave the marshes and to never return. The other one was to not harm Grugash. You had a conversation which took up most of the last session, as it did. You all were delegating and deciding of what to do next. And the decision was made to get out of the marshes and begin to go in the direction of Fort Farron, but then a clue kind of clicked, or something clicked, right? Passive unyielding, right? Something, we have the memory of the map, keen mind, right? We can work through this and find out where this place was. That's something that we didn't do yet. And from that, you actually found out that it's relatively close. It's not actually far away from you right now. It's on the Southern Frost Horde on the south slope. So that in its own was like, hey, let's go ahead and hit that. So while you're doing that, you decided to stop by at the northern tower of Mersatra, which is referred to as Norsatra. You figured out that there were these large, massive crystallic golems in there that meant business. And there was a creature of pure fucking horror that was literally like a nightmarish harpy creature that seemed to enslave, like using the tower itself to enslave you to it, chain you up, and then basically suck and absorb your soul. We haven't really gotten too far into some of the mechanics of the creature, what the creature was entirely capable of, because you all were like, we're getting out of here. Fuck this. We're not going up there. We're done. And you left. So right now we're really on the road. We're still in the marshes. We have yet to fully accomplish leaving. But there isn't much, I should say, to be done in that regard. And so we went ahead and kind of fast traveled you through the marshes, right? And had you come across the bridge that was ruined, and you're essentially at Norfolk, right? So that's kind of where I had in my notes, just kind of fast tracking you a little bit of ways to get you outside of the marshes, which is what your intention was.
Yeah, I think we were just getting to Norfolk when we ended, right?
Yeah. So that's where we'll go ahead and pick up there. We'll pick up in Norfolk. It's still the night here. I've adjusted the time, so if you can read the stars and things, you can notice that the time difference has changed dramatically. We've been here for a long time, considering the outside world, but time was slower, and so there's things that aren't quite adding up to you all in terms of like these 3-day transitions. But then now it's like faster out here. So, regardless of that, you're in this place, still ruined and destroyed. You're bedding down for the night, finding refuge in some of the destroyed structures. There's many furnishings in here that are destroyed, but yet salvageable to make beds. There's also dried stashes of food. The undead that came in here did not claim any of the food. So if there's things that are, there's food in here that do not succumb to spoiling, you're able to fetch those, like the fermented fish, the central shack, this ammonia smell that's kind of pluming outwards in the rest of the town, I should say village, as well as the cupboards and some of the pantry, as well as the cellars in the single-story small buildings around the village center. So beyond that, right, got a little bit of overcast, no rain's falling down, kind of chilly, but it's not as bad as it was in the Frost Horde. You're right around 48 degrees Fahrenheit. And you cue some ambiance here. Get a little stream noise. Put that a little bit distant. But you're between the two congruents, right? So those two tributaries really coming together. So the sound of water is always there. And the trees and the bushes and things. As wildlife, even at night. For the nocturnal creatures. And you're alone. And safe.
We're never safe. Don't lie to me.
And we're outside of the marshes for sure, right?
Yeah, so you actually you
Across the
pierce
river.
the boundary, right? It's the same thing when you kind of passed in. There's this fog boundary, right? And you're kind of like piercing through that as a passable barrier. You can see that rolling in itself, but you've actually went across that ruined bridge, right? That wooden bridge that kind of got hit by the water or destroyed by some of the undead. And so that's still manageable to get across. And you've gotten across there. Yeah.
I think Varys will like go to a corner away from everybody, and he'll pull out 25 gold coins and some incense if he has that on him. And he'll ritual cast divination, and he'll try to contact Celestian. And he's just gonna put out there. He's gonna be like, I've been on my adventure. Let me think about this before I finish it. I don't want to mess this up.
You ritual casting it, right? So 10 minutes. You got time to think about it.
Okay, let me think.
Thanos would be kind of walking the perimeter of Norfolk, looking for essentially horse tracks. Knowing that we have to track up into the mountain, he's going to try to spend some time seeing if maybe they escaped and if we can possibly gather them up at some point between here and there. If they ran into the fields, if they ran north, if they ran where they kind of ran, to try to make this trek a little easier if possible. You're
trying to fetch your horses?
Well, fetch any horses that may be around here. Any horses. Just, I'm sure they had horses around here. Figure maybe there's horse tracks. So I'm just trying to see if there's horse tracks.
Go give me a survival check.
Goats, large pigs.
Nope, there's no horses.
No horses.
You're moving about. It's easier to track animal life on the sandy and muddy beaches, right? Because those are going to have tracks that will be left over. It's been a long period since anybody in Norfolk has been here, right? So you're going off of old to new, and you are able to see that there is a series of tracks, a small pack or herd of wild goats. But beyond that, there's no rideable mounts.
Got it. Okay. I was hoping maybe they had some that were still around. Got it. Got it. Then I'd just retire for the night at that point.
All right. I think I got my idea together. So I'm gonna kind of pray to him and say, Celestian, the Far Wanderer, as you traveled the sky, I traveled this land, but I've run into an enemy that would stop me from helping others. If there's anything I can do to overcome this challenge with your aid, I will be grateful and would do more in your service.
Okay. So, this is divination, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, asking a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity occur within 7 days. So, it's kind of, divination would account for, could you do anything in the next 7 days, or would you basically do anything? The issue here is that you're divinating upon yourself almost.
Wait, what's that?
So divination is 4th level spell here. Okay.
Right.
So I'll probably clue you in a little bit on how this works. It's different than if you were asking a series of questions and getting your answers back. So this is a guaranteed truthful reply. Okay. Your single question is concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. So divination is foreseeing what you would do if you would do something in 7 days. Like basically being like, if we go to this town, is there gonna be like monsters? Right? That's kind of
Oh,
a really
okay.
good bet, right? So this actually, in terms of the response, can't give you a response. So the answer there's just nothing that comes in the way of this ritual. So you're waiting and you're hoping there's an answer, and there's nothing that comes to you. Because there cannot be.
Mhm. Okay.
Mm,
And I'll let you figure out why that is.
Well, so reading the spell description, is it because it was too vague?
No, it's not too vague. It's the subject of the divination.
Yeah, I have, I have no idea.
Something, I guess, to chew on a little bit. So if you are the subject of divination, and yet no answer can be applied to your potential future, that must mean what?
I mean, my future's not set in stone, right?
Correct.
Well, you're essentially asking what will you do in the future, but if you got an answer hypothetically, it would immediately change that outcome.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking more of it like it contacts with the god for an answer, but that's not what this spell does.
Yeah, I know what spell I think you're referencing. Let me see if I can figure out.
Communion.
I think it's
Yeah,
commune,
commune.
right? I don't know if you actually. I don't think you even can
I don't think I
get
can
access
get
to that spell. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I think it's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, that's definitely commune. This is different than that. So, I think if you come back at this and you try to word it in a different way, it might be possible. But again, if you are the subject of the divination, it's not only about what obviously Seth had brought to the table here, but it's also about you specifically.
hmm
So there's,
Okay.
we
Well, I
had a
have
little bit of
another
that touched
idea,
on. So
but I don't know if that will work either. So we'll see.
Did
We'll see
you
what
did
it-
you do this?
you got another fourth level spell?
Did you do this somewhere where
Well,
we
this
would have
is
seen, or were you
ritual,
kind of
so
off?
I don't even use a spell slot.
That's fair. Were you like somewhere where we would have seen you, or are you like off privately?
I mean, I'm probably like I'm like off to the side a little bit, but not like way off by my own.
he's not trying to get jumped.
You also
Yeah.
could also bring out Herbert to form the cottage, and then you can stay
Yeah.
in that instead, right?
Yep.
So yeah, after it doesn't work, I would probably approach Zeph. It'd be like, hey, do you have any ways that you can contact like deities or
I don't really have any specific ends. Like the only contact I've ever really tried, to be honest, is with him, and even then, it's at best been like a general impression. Do this, not really so much of a conversation. So that's the best I've ever really had.
and then I'll look over to where Maldor's sitting. You talked to Helm, right? At Enothema?
Dude.
How'd you do that?
Well, they had a altar of sorts that expedited the process, allowed you to reach other planes directly. Are you attempting to speak with the deity?
Yeah, back at home, we had a deity called Celestian, and his journey throughout the stars mirrors the journey that we do to be ready for our people. I figured he would understand that there's hardships that come up with adventuring and maybe would be able to help.
It sounds like you having a bit of a crisis of faith. If that's the case, leaning on your arcane training may not be the solution. Perhaps you simply need to speak with them, attempt to reach out.
Yeah.
I do not know if it will be successful. Every god is different, and many of them care not for what happens on this plane, as I am painfully learning. But it is always not necessary to have magical means of conveyance. Some of them do listen.
Okay. Well, hearing that, I don't. Are we spending the night in Herbert, or are we out here in the broken down town?
We appeared in the middle of the night, so I suppose we might as well wait till light to go somewhere.
Well, no, I'm saying, are we sleeping in Herbert or not?
I would. I mean, it's probably in better condition than anything in the houses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
might
was-
as well.
Because I was gonna.
Thanos is sleeping on a roof right now.
Yeah, I'll just having him say that. I'll kind of just again separate myself from the group and just kind of think to myself, not using any magic, but just think if there's anything you could do to help me, I'll be in your debt and I'll help serve you if I can. And then I'll take my long rest.
Okay. Give your prayers. Nothing comes to you this night. Everyone's just resting for the night. Nothing in particular before you all lay down.
Not particularly. I'll just pop out Herbert.
How about Herbert? You got it, boss.
Yeah. Sorry we weren't able to use you much in the swamp, but it seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, that's all right. I understand. It's okay. I get it. Find your respective places. Your own bed chambers, kitchen to cook into, so you can make your own food. Odds are music here, or ambiance, I should say, if we're all inside. You all take your long rests. Go ahead and make sure to do a long rest for Car here. So, as you awake in the morning, Herbert can make your breakfast. It's in the kitchen. You can do some studying, right? Get some rest if you need more. Besides just the 8 hours. You can also scavenge for food and rations in this place. Easily able to get it. Each of you can probably get 8 or so rations apiece if you need to. You don't have like a lot of food available, but Thanos, you're more than able to hunt and forage as you go on this journey. Really, what lies ahead in terms of the geography is a slight ascension through neighboring farmland. So, on the east side of this tributary that feeds into the Farron River, and to the Smallwood, and to Fort Farron, are homesteads and farms, which a lot of them have been trampled and kind of destroyed, the fields, I should say. The buildings are boarded and shut. People who've lived there cleared out, right? Because of the horde. And we are past, at this point, in terms of the month, we are past harvest. We're well on our way into winter. So, a lot of these fields are already harvested and cleared, leaving a flat, rolling landscape. You're really staying alongside the river. And you're on the east side, and you'll be progressing in a northern direction, slightly east. You use it as a guide to get up into the mountains. So, as you remove Herbert, put it inside of its respective space, gather yourselves, and get going for your next adventure. Following the map, as well as using yourselves, I need someone to either do a cartographer's check, somewhat survival check, right? Something to kind of move you along here using the map. Now, this check isn't necessarily to having the tributary as a guide. You're going to get to the point of destination, but this is more about observing geographical features and making note of them and seeing if the position that is located there is actually accurate. Because now you're actually using the map and you're making notes on the map, right, as you're going and saying, hey, is this the real spot that we need to go to? So I just need a check from somebody that's using the map. Again, cartographers, survival, can also be intelligence-based. If you just want to roll a flat intelligence check. Wisdom check as well, right? So whoever wants to pick that up.
I'll go ahead and give Bardic for this.
I can give it a go, too.
Pardon?
Yeah, it don't matter to me. My survival's a 6.
I got 8, so. All right.
I mean, I can, yeah, whoever wants to do it, I don't need to.
We'll say you have
We're lost.
advantage. We'll say you have advantage. That's fine. That's honestly what's
That wasn't a skill check, so it's not auto fail.
Go ahead and roll a d8. That's true. It's true. If it's a skill check, it's not an auto fail. I mean, we gotta go. We're one D&D hybriding at this point. You know, we can't say races anymore. We gotta say species. So just FYI.
Oh god,
alright, so
that's
28.
Well,
Yeah. Well, it's actually true. I mean, that makes
Yeah,
more
makes
sense.
sense. Species
Yeah.
makes more
I mean,
sense.
it's
than
yeah.
races.
To be fair, it was always weird calling them
It was
races to
always a
begin with.
misnomer.
Yeah, it was weird. All right, 28.
No, I mean, I'm not saying whether
I know,
it's right
it's-
or wrong. It's just so weird to hear that after only hearing races for
Yeah.
so long.
Yeah. So fantastic check, obviously, from the advantage. Your other check as well would have been totally fine. But the landscape has changed. This map is not entirely accurate. And so you're having to make these notes and checks as you go. But the main destination and where this actual tributary leads, or this headwater, right? That lays true. And so you figure out, after you go through the first day of travel, setting up your camp now, is that you just simply need to follow this and you will eventually get there.
As we're walking, I think I'll kind of like pull Maldor back behind the group. Not like far away to where like no one can hear us, but just like enough to get like a little bit of privacy. And I'll ask him, so you've been in a bunch of battles, correct?
Sure.
How do you deal with the, you know, because I haven't lost a lot of battles in my life. How do you deal with that aspect of this?
With losing? Or do you mean specifically die?
I mean, like, just like, how do you deal with like the ramifications of like being unable to accomplish your goal? I don't know. I mean, I feel like I failed everybody.
Your goal was accomplished. Ultimately, it took a great sacrifice.
I guess.
The best that you can do is to learn and grow, and use the disappointment of failure to fuel you in your next endeavor.
I mean, this is I guess how I tried to come to terms with it is like, my mind for me is like how a talented soldier uses blades or something, something like that.
Of course.
And it feels like I was kind of going on autopilot. Like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do this. And I just assumed we would succeed. I didn't expect it to be easy, but I always assumed that, we were doing something good, so we would succeed. And I think this is the first time I've ever faced the reality of, like, what says we're the people that just solves this whole problem.
It's not quite like it is in the songs and stories and books, is it?
No, and
The good guys don't always win.
And I never touched a battlefield before I left home. My memories from home are me sitting on a beach reading books.
Also, on
goofing around.
On a field of battle, there is no good guys and bad guys. There's you and your enemy, and the outcome is never predetermined.
That helps.
Stay fast. You're doing fine.
It also made me think of what this group even is. Do we actually care about each other? Are we even friends, or are we just banded together by the sense of duty? I don't know. It's a lot for me right now.
It's those are not necessarily mutually exclusive ideas. In the heat of battle, it can be complicated. Attachments and friendships can be a liability, but they can also be a strength. You just have to learn to temper your emotions and expectations when times call for it.
Also, if I'm being honest, I'm terrified to go to sleep sometimes because I feel like if I close my eyes, they won't open back up. The only problem with having a keen mind is the fact that you don't forget anything.
Indeed. That is a feeling I am familiar with. Give it time.
Thanks for listening.
Of course.
I think with that, I'll move to rejoin the rest of the group.
So, in terms of the change in geography as we have made way, we've gone a good distance, 20 or so miles at this point, right? This is where we're getting into our second night. Most likely we'll still get an error here as I change the day. Sorry about that. Nothing I can do until they update the actual module, which they haven't done yet. Simple calendar. As you have traversed, what becomes apparent is that the stream turns rather into a ravinous river. Okay, so now it was like flat and kind of wide. It's kind of far more narrow now, and the cliff sides are building and building up. The hills that feed and these kind of spring forth from the mountains really do create difficult and strenuous terrain on the west side of the river. So you're kind of in a gradual slope rolling with the hills. Some of these evergreen trees are now beginning to come outwards from the mountainside, but they're really far and few between. mainly just shrubs, flowers, and grass. And you're finding a little bit of a haven point. You have safe haven because you can see pretty much all around you, right? And then you have the river at your backside to set up a camp. Pitching up a fire, Thanos, you do some hunting. You're able to find a few burrowing creatures, gophers, and moles, and things, as well as rabbits, like hares. They're out in these fields. It's easy enough to hunt them down, as well as just shoot crossbow at them as you kind of trudge across, since it's open field. You're going to bring them back. You light a fire, get them prepped, get them cooked. A few of the shrubs that you've passed by on your journey, they're fruiting. Even well into the winter here, they still have berries on them. They're edible. You're able to pick those and provide food for everyone at this point. So no one needs to actually tap into the rations if they don't want to. Having a nice meal like this out in travels, as well as being away from the marshes, is nice. You can still see the marshes, but with the disappearance of the sun, now to night, you cannot. The darkness has kind of swallowed that up. All you have is the light of the campfire and the crackling of the wood. Looking upon the map with your survival check, Zeph, as well as accompanied by your companions who are helping you, it seems you will reach your destination on the next day, if you move at a quickened pace. So, could put you at exhaustion level 1, but you can reach there and you'll get there right before the sun sets. Or perhaps you'll take another rest, get yourselves ready to go, and then press forward in the day. Regardless, we now have another long rest. You don't need to necessarily take them unless you've used some things. Is there anything anybody's doing in particular?
I'm going to cast Sending to my mom again.
That's sending to your mom again?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you say?
Hopefully this dude doesn't hijack it, but I'll say, hello, Mother. Thinking about you. I hope all is well. Tell Dad I love them, and I love you.
I'm just kidding.
You son of a bitch!
Oh,
I was so angry. I was so angry.
Oh, come on, you're on. You said that to your mom?
Yeah.
Okay. We love you too. I hope everything is going okay. We miss you so much. When are you coming home?
I think I'll send it back again. Don't know when I'll be home. This journey's taken a couple of weird turns. Just know I'm thinking about y'all.
Just a couple.
We think about you too, Varvar. And we really hope that your journey is safe and you experience the whole world. And when you come home, Oswilla will welcome you with open arms. I think that's more than 25. It's counting in my head.
Okay. Yeah, then after that, I think I'm good for the night. I think probably every night now, for like probably the next week, he'll pray to the Celestian like every day at night before he goes to bed.
Okay. So no answer comes to you during your prayer here, but you are able to do that and continue your meditation, continue your prayer and your connection, hope that something will come of it. And eventually you tire out and fatigue, and you get your rest. You all awake in the morning. The sun is bright. It is rearing. It's ready to go. When we do fast travel, I don't change the clock right, because it's not necessary. Pack up your bedrolls, your tents, or perhaps you had Herbert out, right? You had the fireplace going, cook your breakfast in there. So again, it's really up to you and how you want to interpret this journey for yourselves. Sound of the rushing water is continuing as you are making now a slight gradual ascension. You get into a few pieces of earth that change away from the grass to a granite, a darkish granite. Switchbacks begin to form, and then you enter in to the snow line. Snow line, as it's falling through, it's very gradual. It's not very much. It's easy to trudge through, and eventually then it gets thick. As you continue to ascend, the alpine trees are quite dense with the brambles of bushes, forcing you all to have to really trudge into this difficult terrain. As you get into the next day, now I'm going to change so we can make our decisions here. And we get to right around late evening, when the sun is beginning to set. Something up ahead catches your eye. You continue to press forward, and about 300 to 400 feet or so, it seems as though you're looking uphill. It seems as though that the river is splitting into two, but they both are going in the same direction. There are two objects, one of which resides on the island or piece of land that sits between the rivers, as well as your side of the embankment. Slightly off of the horizontal, these two squared stone objects that form into prisms, flat kind of top. And they extend from the snow roughly about 2 to 3 feet, suggesting that they're larger, because you're having to trudge through 1.5 feet of snow at this point. And it's odd that they would be there. The trees do not grow on the island part. This piece of land that splits between the rivers seems to be quite flat, with a gradual incline. And it only is about 15 feet in its width. The stonework as well, it's not bricked. It's rather carved, showing work that has been done to make it this way. As you continue to press forward through the alpine trees and the snow, using switchbacks to help out your ascent without fatiguing yourselves, you eventually get up to the prism on the side of the river where the congruence is. Sound of the rushing water, greater than it was before. Looking at the object that lies in front of you, it's covered in dwarvish runes. And at this point, along with the map, suggesting what continues to lie ahead is up the river, about 8 to 9 miles. And this object, you are getting close. Now, who all can speak Dwarvish?
Tegan can.
Oh, Tegan can. Nice. That's right.
I was
Tegan
gonna
can.
say, I can comprehend languages if I need to.
So Tegan, you look at this, and this is referred to as a Dwarvish sign. And it's what they use to signify a bridge. This simply states, Vasilthrock, which generally means the designation that this bridge will lead. Vasilthrock in Dwarvish means the Golden Gates. You, Tegan, you believe that a bridge crossed this 20 to 25 foot segment to get onto the piece of land or the island that cuts between the rivers. Bridge is not there.
How far is it across?
20 to 25 feet.
Well, that's
I'll go
not-
ahead and say to everybody. It seems to be some sort of marking. It says that this is a bridge to something called the Golden Gates. I don't know why it's not here, or if we need to do something to create it or activate it, but there's not much else that it says.
When he says that, I will cast Detect Magic ritually.
Okay.
And say, hold on, let me see if there's any magic coming off of this thing.
Maldor gets a running start and just jumps over to the other side.
Okay. So you get a running start and you jump onto the other side. As you do, you crest with your strength. You're able to do this with a running jump. And you're able to get on the other side. You have to kind of get yourself situated when you land. Not much space to kind of roll or to slide, right? Because it's very shallow in its width. I guess it's described as 15 feet. And when you get onto the other side, the prism itself has the same dwarvish markings. It's built in the same exact design, just signifying perhaps the other side of the bridge. Then you land and you begin to walk. What becomes apparent is that the land here, the surface of this, is smooth. So when you're compacting the snow, it's not jagged and wobbly, like you're on loose rock or changing variety of terrain. It's as if this is cobbled specifically.
Seems fun.
I'm going to take my crossbow that has the rope tied to it from the bat fight, and I'm going to shoot it at Maldor's feet.
Those are
Go
gonna
ahead and
shoot
make,
him.
go ahead and make just a d20 check. I know your modifiers here just to see as far as what we're going to get for an attack roll.
Yep. D20.
No problem there. You shoot it across the 20, 25 foot segment of the east side of the split here, noting that it's roughly about 30 to 35 feet down to the water level. You then see Maldor crossbow kind of lands nearby your feet, and then with the rope being as heavy as it is, begins to kind of slide back.
Oh, catch it.
Catch it? Okay.
I figured he'd catch on.
Yeah, I figured so as
Just
well.
lets it
Your
fall.
betrayal has
Just
finally
lets
come
it, just
to light.
lets it go. Goodbye. I'm gonna turn down.
Can
some
you
of
not
that,
all jump across? What's
I wish. I'd probably
Or
fall
we
50
could
feet in.
swim across. Is there any magic that comes off of this thing?
So your ritual cast at this point with the arrow now taut, and Maldor you have it on the other side, and then Thanos you have it on this side. Detect magic goes off. You don't detect any magic coming from the prism or around it in any regard.
Yeah, if there's no magic, I guess we're just gonna have to swim across.
The water is 35 feet below us, sir.
Or I don't know how else would do this. I'm not
tightrope.
very strong.
Yes. So I have a suggestion as somebody that has spent a lot of time in the mountains.
Mhm.
If we have any other ropes, I'm assuming we do. You all,
Yeah.
we've all been capable. Cut a piece of it, tie it around your waist, loop it over the rope that Maldor and I have. We'll tie our ends to the stones here.
Mhm.
And then if you loop it over, that'll kind of anchor you to this, and you just shimmy yourself along.
I'm just gonna do exactly what Thanos tells me to do.
Okay. No worries. So that said, whoever is shimming themselves across needs to make an athletics check here.
Which, also, does anyone have any pigeons? That way we don't have to have someone bolted on this end.
Well, there's the
There's
two
tied
giant
off the
stones, right?
pillars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just
There's
tied the
the
stones.
two prism objects, right? They're about a foot and a
Mm.
half to 2 feet in their length as well as their width. There's also the trees. So these tundra trees are growing up to the riverside on your end here. So you can simply tie it around a tree as well.
Oh,
Tegan with a
God.
natural 2.
Yes.
Lucar at this point with a 20 strength is just simply going to jump across.
So,
Is that an athletics, right?
how would
You made your harness,
what
right?
happens?
We'll get to that.
Athletics. Let's do this.
Oh
I'm a
boy.
big, strong wizard.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to do the suggestion though, rope over the other rope and secure myself as best as I can.
Okay.
Let's see. You said athletics?
Yep.
Or just athletics?
It's just athletics. Yep.
Okay.
The way that's been described to me is Thanos. It's kind of just pulling yourself along with the harness that you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
13. Okay. So I'm going off the order of your rolls here with how you're actually going across, so just FYI. So Tegan, you're actually going to be first. You create the harness, and you with the natural 1, you immediately begin to lose your grip on the rope. You're about halfway through at this point. And luckily for you, the harness kind of catches you, right? That's what it's designed to do, right? It's a safety, so you're not just going to simply fall to your death or into the river here. Varys, you're behind, right? In the order. You eventually are able to kind of help Tegan grab the rope itself and then begin to shimmy yourselves across. So, good job, Thanos, teaching your party
Didn't
quite
sign
well.
up for this. Didn't sign up
Hey,
for
can
this.
you
Didn't sign
work
up for
out?
this.
How am I better than
Um,
this than you?
Let's just say if Thanos didn't say anything, you probably would. Bye,
It would have
Tegan.
been.
That's
it
what
would've
Dimension Door is for. Lee.
That's a dimension door. Yeah, Misty stabbing dimension door. I'm getting out of here.
I mean-
So
Yeah.
been.
it's not, again, the athletics checks are really just to seeing how you get across in terms of time. Generally, when you have an assistance of a rope, now that you're doing it horizontally, though, not vertically, yeah, we come into if you're a slip and fall as well as slow. So Tegan, you're just taking your time at this point, being helped with Virus and getting yourself to the rope, and eventually you all get across. We're not in combat. There's no time constraints here, right? If we were in combat, it might be having a problem. Tegan going first. You're trying to escape something.
I think when I get to the other side, I'd like do the thing where like I take a couple crab step walks and then I just like fall to my knees and just like kiss the ground. And I go, oh, thank God.
So you're all having to kind of bunch yourselves up at this point. So you're making kind of a line, right? Spanning yourselves more towards the north to give more space on this island, this piece of rock here. And again, you are looking at the time and the sun setting down right around 7 o'clock, right? We're late evening. And you know you have, according to the map here, at least 8 to 9 miles left of the journey ahead of you. You come into a question, do we press on and risk exhaustion? Or do we decide to set up camp here on this island being protected? Nothing really can get to us, right? Unless it's a flying creature, But we decide to rest and then do we push on in the morning? Or do we just go now?
I'm never in favor of pressing into the unknown tired.
Yeah,
I don't know that we
think,
need to rush. We might as well take our time.
Yeah, we're not on a timetable that I'm
Whatever
aware
damn
of.
I wanted to do. It's been, what, a month and a half now since we've been in the marshes? So, like, whatever he wanted to do, he already did.
Yeah, I think I'm of the same mind. I'm like, there's no rush.
I would agree.
So you entered the marsh on Sephiroth's 18th. So it hasn't been, it's been a long time in terms of the weeks here. So it's about 2 weeks that you've been in the marsh. So it hasn't even been a full month. So
I thought there was like
it's
some insane thing.
no, it's not. It's insane in the sense that you were like, oh, we've only been here.
3 days.
We've been here
turned
less
into
than
2 weeks or something.
yeah, exactly. It's less than a week. So
Yeah,
now
that
it's
was
2 weeks.
awful.
So, yeah. So it's not a dramatic difference, but in terms of for Farron, the commander, right? Being like, oh, we're gonna head out, we're gonna do this, and then not seeing you come back for 2 weeks.
They think we're all dead.
That could be rough. Okay, so camping out, getting a rest. Okay. So you can pitch a campfire if you want to get some warmth because we are cold right now. We're in the back in the snow, back in the cold. So you get your warm bedrolls out, maybe get a campfire lit up, get some warmth. Thanos maybe digging out some of your past food that you had leftovers with. Some of you tapping
doesn't
into your
tiny
rations.
hut keep us warm as well?
You could do tiny hut. Yeah, Herbert. It's a little bit too small for Herbert to pop out the cottage at this point, but yeah, you can bust out a bubble.
Bust down a bubble. That should have been the name of that spell, honestly.
I think I would take advantage of kind of the lighting to kind of fly up into the air to see kind of, I guess, whereabout in the grand scheme of things that we are on this mountainside. Because I know that we kind of just walked into it, which kind of takes away from what's out in the rest of the world. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So, getting what light you have left, you then, taking the dim condition, you're just flying up, kind of seeing it. It becomes apparent to you that the separation of the river is entirely intentional. That the actual river itself, now getting some good distance, as a series of waterfalls that have been crafted to make this gradual ascension at the center point rise up to more of a rapid pace. It's like a rampart. Cliff sides on either end of the west and eastern embankments, respectively, of those rivers on either side become shallower to your island as it forms that rampart going north. And then rolling snow embankments feed downwards. This is like a ease of access to get directly into the mountainside, which is where this is forming. Now, you can't exactly get a distance of that per se, but you know, I should say, you have an understanding of distance of that, right? The mileage there, but you can't get the features of what it is. You know that it's going directly to the mountainside, and the mountainside itself is forming in the sheer-like face as it's growing and filling into the southern Frosthorn Mountains, which tend to be far more great and impassable than the northern Frosthorn. So the southern is actually simply larger in terms of their elevation.
Yeah.
Behind you, you can see the terrain is feeding from the mountains. So the mountains are kind of reaching their hands outwards and grabbing the river, right? And so the river itself could have been a cutout so that the mountains couldn't just simply engorge this space. And that's what you've really been working with. So a good way to phrase this is that you've been working maybe on a ridge line versus the mountains on the left and right of you. And you've been kind of working yourself up into this space.
Okay.
So you haven't gained crazy amounts of elevation. In fact, you put yourself maybe only about 2,500 to 3,000 feet from the farmland below. So this is not actually that high up into the mountains. It just happens to be that the snow line combined with the mountain is kind of pushing itself out in this particular part into the Corn Valley, right? Now we're kind of in the Frosthorn that we're hitting both of the regions at the same time, is creating this, which could stand to reason of a perfect place. You want good access point for, given if this is going to be a very important location, if there's going to be something here, you need to have access to it. So this could have been part of that design.
Okay. I would fly down to the rest of the party in the tiny hut and just kind of relay that these rivers seem very deliberate. I don't know what's ahead of us. I couldn't see that, but I could see the terrain. So yeah, be ready. We're almost there.
Doing my nightly prayer and then going to bed.
So doing your nightly prayer, no answer comes to you this night. You all begin to get a rest. If you need to take a long rest, you can. We now get to the next day here. And I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit fast track in the morning for when you would be able to get to this place, about 10 o'clock. versus how many miles you're able to take. You're moving also now, not necessarily difficult terrain, but you're still going uphill. You begin to make way, series of miles. You get to this. So, a central rampart leads between two gorges, down 90 feet on the left and right. Large and steep snowbanks fall over 200 feet to alpine evergreen trees and shrubs. In front, two pillars extend adjacent to the rampart, anchoring it and the nearby waterfalls. The pillar is about 40 feet in height. Two larger pillars covered in similar dwarvish carvings are nearly 130 feet in height. They support the waterfall and stone aqueduct that funnels water along the mountainside to the waterfalls and thus the gorges. A small half wall of stone fits diving into the river above the waterfall. Now, it sits about 3 to 4 feet higher than the water level. So, if you put yourself in this location, it's like a bridge, right, between the two rivers. And that is only about 4 or so feet above the actual water line. Versus the aqueduct, which sits larger and higher up, and then continues to descend further down, because you are in an elevated position. Dramatically so, versus the left and right gorges, as well as the left and right snow embankments. You're very high much in the air compared to the rest of the map. But you're not that high up in the air compared to the bridge and then the mountainside, which is on the north side of this map, blocked by golden gates. An immaculate 35-foot tall, solid golden gate. It is built into the mountainside with pillars, brick stone, and rocky mountain around it. Two golden dwarvish statues of armored figures with hammers and pickaxes crossed over while bowing are on either side of the bridge in front of the golden gates. The gate does not seem to contain a seam, but you can tell that it is split by the clan Ironhide sigil. An iron stamped shield with a hammer and pickaxe crossing, as well as two golden spiraled handles on either side underneath the sigil. Unpaused.
I think those will be the golden gates.
As we approach, I'm going to do two things. One is cast Mage Armor on myself, just in case. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to ritualize cast Detect Magic as we approach.
Okay.
I'm also going to give Varys the Vigilant Blessing.
Okay.
I'm going to stay here with my crossbow out for something to go horribly wrong. Somebody's going to get blown up. I feel it. This is a trap.
So, Varys, as you begin to pass through, arcing yourselves between the two pillars, there is a creature that begins to emerge from underneath the bridge, greenish in hue, as it begins to pierce with large dreads and two incisor tusks. It's pulling itself upwards and looking at your general direction. Who is that? Oh, look at you! Oh, yum, yum, yum. Mmm, you look tasty.
Cool.
Oh, but you have nice things. That staff is nice. And the helmet, too. Mm-hmm. Kip, come on. Another one emerges on the other side. What is it, Ma? Oh, check out this one. Oh, there's more. Look. Begin to wrap themselves, looking now, filling the bridge space, and looking down at the rest of all of you. Look at all of them. Ooh. Ooh. Shall we eat them, Ma? They have shinies. Nice shiny things. Come on. Pulls the arms. This here is our bridge.
They don't look quite dwarvish, do they? Dwarves a bit smaller, usually.
Yeah.
No,
Dwarves, we are drones.
we would like to pass.
Ooh, you like to pass? Give me that staff. That looks good.
That's not going to happen.
Well, what do you have to trade then to make passage of this bridge?
How about
Do you have this rock? I throw a rock at him I found.
A rook. Insulting.
I think I'm just
Ma.
gonna. No,
axe right there. Points to you, Waldor.
Would you like to see it closer?
Yeah, I would.
Oh shit!
I think knowing that this is not gonna go well, I think I'm gonna.
How fucking close?
Yeah, I think I'm going to attack them.
All right.
Which I know will start our initiative.
As the echo appears on the backside of Kip, Kip turns around towards. It goes into like claw at it, and that will trigger initiatives and everyone to roll. I'm gonna have Lucar be between you, Maldor, and Tegan. In current position.
I guess I'll roll another one in case I get a 20.
Oh, did you get a 19 to roll?
Initiatives, too.
I got another 19. Yeah.
Yeah, so your initiative's the same.
You can give this to somebody else, man. Seth.
Right, so
Every
you
time
put on
you've given it to me, it's been stupid high.
Vigilant Blessing. You put on to.
How did I roll an 8 with advantage?
So Zeph, you put on Vigilant Blessing onto Varys. That way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't make any difference, really, so.
yeah.
No, I rolled 2 19s.
And I rolled an 8 with advantage. What the fuck?
All right, we're gonna go ahead and begin combat. Clearly with Varys. Varys, you first.
All right.
And pause.
I'm gonna cast Pulse Wave at them.
Okay.
He's gonna hit the echo.
Sorry, Echo.
Yeah, Echo's going out now. it's done.
That's just a bad business decision for Varys.
And if they fail, they are pushed 15 feet back.
Away from you.
Yeah.
You just chuck them both off the bridge.
That's the idea, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. So Tick is going to succeed with an 18. Kip is going to fail with a 9. So damage being assigned respectively here. Obviously, the Echo is going to die. I'm going to remove it from the board. And then Kip, which is the one that turned around, is now going to be pushed 15 feet. It's into the 3 to 4 foot kind of half wall there. Hit into it and then goes into the water. Seeing that the actual water level here is not actually that deep for this creature. This creature is quite large, 12 to 13 feet in height. And then kind of grabs its claw to the half wall, and then its legs actually go to the base of the river. And it's kind of like, oh, shit! What? It's kind of yelling outwards in the direction because the waterfall is there. It's not like hanging on. Like, Ma! Ma! My hand!
And then, am I in range if I leave? If I run away?
I can't answer that for you.
Okay. Ooh,
They have really long arms.
this is tough. This is
I can't. I'm not going to tell you that.
yeah. I think I'm gonna back up. We use my movement to move here.
All right, you take a. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
You're good.
yeah. Then, no, my turn.
All right, Thanos. It is your turn. You're holding a crossbow up initially, but you are not the one to get started on the party, and unfortunately, you're not invisible, and they were able to perceive all of you.
That's fine.
No surprise.
Yeah, I'm just going to shoot it.
12. As you fire at Tick, Tick then uses the pillar, bracing, kind of attacking. Does not land.
All right.
We
I will
can't
take
carry
my-
this over from last night, but cleanse it.
Yeah,
Cleanse
yeah,
it.
it's gonna carry over.
It really is.
16. Then comes back, lands into the shoulder. Ow!
All right. I will take my bonus action Dark Steel Hand crossbow shot for the crossbow expert.
17. It does lands into the left leg. 8 points of piercing. Ah! Ah! Ah!
And then I will take my dreaded ambusher shot for first round of combat, which should get an extra 1d8. I don't think we've been doing that, but I was actually reading through my stuff in the first dreaded ambusher.
I told you that.
D8.
I believe I said that to you. You said that you get one. You said you got one or the other. I went along with it. You said you get one. You either get the D8 on attack roll or you get an extra thing. I was like, no, you get both.
It's
you
an
get
extra.
both.
Yeah, I'm an idiot, so that's fine. I am an idiot, and I'll take the I'm an idiot.
Yeah, roll a D8.
Yeah.
No denial from Michael.
Nope, I'm the idiot. That's fine. Michael's like, I was right. I told you all along.
All right, 15 points of damage, 3 bolts.
That will end my turn.
No, you're not. I always go with the players ruling on that if they want to do that, but I'm, unfortunately for you, Thanos, that your subclass is a very well played subclass. I played a lot of them. So, all right. So Tegan, you're up. What are we doing?
The usual.
Shatter.
Oh, don't break the bridge, dude.
The bridge is gone.
I was gonna say that might not be a good deal, but hey,
It's dwarven craftsmanship. It's fine.
Honestly, that's a good point.
Don't you have a crossbow? You need to shoot that.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna shoot him.
I mean, the one closest to us is looking a little rough.
That's the one that's injured the most?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I pushed
just
that one
shot
back,
a bunch of bolts.
but that one got shot a bunch, so they're both. I would imagine they both.
All right,
got
hand
hit.
crossbow being fired off. It's gonna be a 13. As it does, that is not going to hit. Stick dodges and dives underneath the bolt. No!
I'm pretty sure the only time Tegan's hit anything with the crossbow is when he lobbed one 800 feet into a crowd of undead and did like 3 damage.
Happens to the best of us.
I'll just have my turn.
All right, ending
Very
turn. We now come to Lucar. Lucar lets off a draconic roar. Why not, Lucar? Let's get it. 25 feet, runs up, grabs the Bane of Barathune, and goes in for a series of swings. First strike coming through. It's going to be 20 to hit. That is going to be 19 total points of slashing damage. And they then go through for a second strike, so coming into the leg, pulling the blade out, then go for a stab into the groin area. That is going to be a 22, and that deals 16 points of slashing damage. They then are going to end their turn in the front. Seth, you're up next.
These guys don't seem to be taking a lot of damage, so I'm not going to worry about too much. So I'm just going to do Toll the Dead on the first one.
Okay. Bring stab in the leg, and then pierce in the groin. Begins to grab it. Then blood begins to pour through, and the eyes roll back, and then topples down to the ground.
Oh, wow. He was a lot closer than I thought. All right. Yep.
Seeing the one splatted, Aldor will charge it up to this one. I assume hanging off the wall is still somewhat in range because he's tall.
Yeah, no, so that's exactly what I'm describing it. So basically, this creature's tall enough in the water line and versus the actual base of where the ground is, so the river bed. This creature actually has its almost torso and head up above the half wall.
He will just attack.
Okay.
No carryover, no carryover, no carryover.
16 to come through with the Great Webmaster 22 as you slice into its center point of its chest. Some blood begins to pour out. Oh, Mom! Ah!
Do you like the axe?
10
Do
to
you
come
like
through.
that?
It then kind of grabs, pushes itself from the half wall, and you take the axe into the stone, pulling it out. I do like it. It's not. So hit me again with, please.
I think that's unfailing, right? So that the bardic inspiration goes back.
Yes, because you used it on the second one. Yeah, it's unfailing, so I'll put it back to you.
Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna burn anything else. Maldor's kind of unimpressed with these two. He's just gonna hold end his turn.
Okay. So we're now coming to this one's turn. Tick is prone. They're going to use half the movement speed to stand up. As they do, eyes pulling back. Some of the wounds beginning to heal. They then stand clean upright, and they look in the direction of Lucar, and they come in for a series of 3 attacks.
All right.
A bite and 2 claws. Bite coming
Trills.
through as they bite down into the shoulder. That's going to be a 10, which misses Lucar, creeping upon, then coming in for the claw strike from left to right, hitting them into the pillar. 24 is successful. Lucar is hit with 11 points of slashing damage. Then comes with the next claw coming top down. It's going to lacerate from the face downwards. 23 is successful. Then it's going to be 12 points of slashing damage as it cleaves through the chest. Then bleeding still profusely. Kip, get out of here! Your mama's got this! So we're going to now come to Kip, and I already applied the healing there. So Kip was regenerated. Some of the wounds from the central chest here in front of you, Maldor, has healed. More, I won't leave you. Then going in for an athletics check to grapple you, Maldor. I need you to oppose it with an athletics or an acrobatics check. An
Last time all
11.
over again.
11 is going to be a failure to the 22. They are going to successfully grapple you. Then they are going to move you and dangle you over the waterfall. As they dangle you over the waterfall, they cannot let go on the same turn because it's an action to end a grapple. So they're going to actually have you over the waterfall and use their movement speed, about 30 feet of it, so they can't even move, to pull you over into that direction. But Maldor, you are dangling over the waterfall. This is 90-foot drop. And the voice of Kip yells outwards, "Enough! We're done! We're done fighting! I'll drop him! I swear I'll drop him!" Bears, you're up next.
So, I'm seeing how I know Maldor has switched place with this Echo so many times. I know he's fine, and I'm just going to shift over here and target this one with a
He's
firebolt.
house-shooting the wrong person.
All right, 26 comes through, 11 points of fire damage. As it does, hits to the center point, leaving a large laceration. It begins to splinter and scorch, and you see his tick once more falls backwards, hitting into the half wall and then rolling to the side.
You better put him back on the bridge. And end my turn.
All right, Thanos, you're up next.
All right, well, seeing as how I have this giant pillar in my way, I will walk 10 feet closer to everybody. I think that puts me within the 120 feet. Yeah, that should be plenty. And we're gonna shoot this one.
Okay. 29 hits. That does 8 points of piercing damage. Lands into the shoulder.
Yeah, I wouldn't kill him until Maldor's back on the bridge.
Maldor can
No,
he'll switch
no
spots as soon as
meta,
he's free.
everyone. No meta. Come on.
It's fine. It's fun. I believe in Maldor. I will put sharpshooter on and shoot him again.
All right, 19, 25 total piercing points, lands into the chest.
No, seriously, don't kill him. Not yet.
And bonus action. All right,
All right.
fine.
7. Then moves the head, the air flies off.
I will end my turn there.
All right, Tegan, you're up next.
I feel like Tegan's very confused because everyone just kind of seems like not taking this very seriously. So I'm gonna say, listen, man, you and your mom are gonna die. Just put them back on the bridge. Let us pass. You get to live. It's easy as that.
His mom's already dead.
You get to live.
roll persuasion. At disadvantage. Hold on control.
That's pretty
Nice.
good.
Wow.
26. All right, enough. He's crying out.
I mean, I'll have my turn. I'm not gonna do anything.
All right, now we come to Lucar. And honestly, in Lucar fashion, Lucar is going to run up here and go in for a couple swings.
Yeah.
Really? Come on, we got to be realistic here. Lucar is not going to listen to anything that's happening.
No.
It's going to go in for 2 swings. First strike coming through with the babe. That is going to be a natural 1. Jeez.
Hopefully, it doesn't
Nothing
kill the
bad
echo.
happens. Just strikes down into the half wall of the stone as Kip kind of backtracks and then comes forward and then comes in for the second strike. The horizontal swing of 23 begins to cut through. A lot of rerolls here. It deals 14 total points of slashing damage. As that happened, Kip hits into the half wall and then rolls back. Maldor, you're still clutching the hands, and then Kip is now sliding down off of the water line. And so you're going to be about here in retrospect of the body still grappled because the hand's still around you. Then loose and lets go of the grapple as you begin to tumble and fall.
Can I cast Feather with Fall?
We're out of combat at this point.
Yeah.
So
Falling into
Alright.
a waterfall.
as he's, I'm still next to the roughly, like we're falling together, right?
Yeah, so you're falling with Kip, basically. But Kip does
Yeah,
not have like a
so-
grapple on you, per se.
Right. Maldor is going to hit the body with Green Flame Blade as we're falling. Just to make
Okay.
sure. he's done with this.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna. I don't have anything to target. I'm gonna assume that.
No,
that
yeah, you can.
probably would.
You're gonna hit. I'm not gonna have you do the roll.
You're
We're
gonna
doing
hit
it
it.
now. It's
You can
redundant
hit
at
it
that
that
point.
body.
Yeah, so
we
he's
we
gonna
know
give him
you're
a fire
gonna miss
chop,
after last night.
and then after last night, yeah, and then bonus action, yeah, he'll rope it up with the echo, appear back on the bridge.
Okay.
It's
So rub
like
it up with the
after-
echo there. I'll go ahead and remove your echo and position as they fall down. Eventually, actually just disappearing because of the distance and space.
Yeah,
You
just-
then appear in
yeah.
the space. Kept burning with the green flame blade as they're kind of falling. They just like fall, and then they hit into the water, the base of the waterfall. And their body actually gets kind of like clung up in the rocks because the width of these rivers isn't very much anymore. And so they're down deep in the gorge. You can see their body being hit, shoved, and pushed, and then eventually they're lost to the water line.
That felt wrong.
Which pump?
I don't know. They
They
were
just
obviously
tried to
bad,
mug
but,
us.
Yeah, it was with the
Yeah, I mean they're
They
not
were
nice
obviously
people.
bad, but like, just felt wrong.
They probably have a stash under the bridge if one of you wants to crawl into that.
I can't fly, unfortunately. Didn't prepare that for the day.
We have rope.
I was gonna say, Maldor, you want to hold me? And by hold me, I mean hold the rope. So I'll go over to Maldor. I'll pass him the end of the rope that I would have retrieved from the bridge, and I will tie it around my waist. And yeah, I'm going to begin to shimmy down under the bridge, see if I can see any little alcoves or loot. Or
Okay. So you can see that there are 2 cut out pocket spaces underneath the current land that you were traversing on the rampart. And they're forming 8 to 9 foot in height, these and about 5 to 6 foot width kind of cubby holes that fit in. And then you kind of see that the rampart itself kind of ends and the water's curving through that and has a little bit of an island down there, a little bit of a shelf, right? You have to go down about 20 feet or so with the rope. Eventually you're able to hit onto that spot. You can see here there's bedrolls, there's other sorts of firewood, basically adventuring equipment that has been stolen or taken, and they've been kind of making makeshift different things. There's like a pot down here with a fire that was intentionally put out by snow, so there's like snow over the fire, so they probably perceived you all coming before you got here. They don't have much around in their backpacks or things here. It seems that they're running low on food. They are low on firewood. And based on your passives, you note here that they have actually been here a long time. that they've defecated, they've ate, they've burned wood for an extended period. And something to that note, you go into the cubby holes and you look, and you find that there are burlap sacks full of different dried food rations that have spoiled. So they have kind of spoiled already for how long they've been up here, even in the cold temperatures. You then find a small wooden chest that's been broken and weathered. It's locked, but it's in the right cubby hole, and that is also vacant of the 2 sacks that are on the left side. Now, this one is filled with empty burlap and kind of cloth sacks, as if they meant to fill these full of stuff. There's no food particles in them. There's nothing remainder. So somehow they were going to use these with collecting things, and they just never have. So one seems to store their food. This one was the treasure. You do find kind of a small chest. Again, it's only about 2 feet in its width and about 1.5 feet in its height. It's kind of squared off a little bit, and then it has this metallic kind of padlock to it.
Lucar's like, those are good pixie catching bags.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna yell down to Thanos. Do you see anything?
Yeah, there's a chest down here. Hold on, give me a minute. I'm not proficient with them, but oh no, I am proficient in these tools. I'm not.
You are
proficient
proficient in
with
these
hand.
tools. Yep. Yep.
Let's go. I am going to try to unlock this chest then.
Okay.
There
It's
we go.
22. You are able to get your thief's tools in. Clicks. Very easy lock here. You'll undo it. You pull up the chest, and inside of here, you see roughly 325 gold pieces, and they're in several different leather purses. They've been kind of tucked away in these purses. In addition, there is seeming a note of some kind in there as you kind of begin to read the note. Then has a series of like little notes inside, like little love letters and things. They're like as if they broke it into like a homestead of a farmhouse, and then they took like this chest was like their private kind of treasury kind of thing in that homestead.
Oh, these
And
bastards.
so it's like keepsake, like love notes and things back and forth. Not saying that they killed them, but they probably broke into one of the farmhouses and were stealing food and
and
found
stole
those.
stuff.
Yep.
Okay. I will take all of it, including the love notes. I'm gonna tuck the love notes in one of the other empty bags, so that way they're kind of protected and separate.
Okay.
And then yeah, I will tug on the rope twice to kind of let Maldor know, and I'll try to shimmy back up the rocks. I will add
shimmy back up?
300.
Zoo.
Whoop.
Yeah,
I will add the
325 gold pieces.
Okay, I'm gonna add that to the group treasury. I'm not gonna
Oh,
steal
okay.
it, obviously.
You could.
Good. I'm just gonna pass it to whoever has the. Oh, I have one of the bags of holding. I'm just gonna stick it in the bag of holding. We do math now.
Unless we were paid for our troubles.
Yeah, they weren't very strong.
I
They
think we're just stupid, more powerful than they anticipated.
they
clearly
look
did
like
not
they
know
have
what they were getting
been
into.
here a while.
It was
Yeah.
also very, very humorous to knock that man off the side of the bridge.
That was they're well done.
It is interesting that they were here. I can't imagine this is a highly trafficked area.
Yeah,
It does
that's
not
fine.
seem like if you're going to camp a bridge to
Speaking of which, can I
Really?
survey the ground? Is it a highly trafficked area at all?
Make an investigation check or survival.
I was about to say I'll aid you in doing
Both
that.
advantage.
Which is control again, right?
Alt.
I always make that out.
20. It's not a highly trafficked area. In fact, all you're able to find signs of are these two creatures that have been stomping back and forth this bridge, going up to the Golden Gates. And upon your survival, looking at the tracks and looking now more intently at the Golden Gates, there is claw marks in the gold.
Oh yeah, did my detect magic carry over through the fight? Because I never
Your
cast
detect
it.
magic ritualized casting does last for a little bit of time. Right now, based on the radius from yourself emanating through, you don't detect any magic.
I'm gonna approach the doors and see if any magic comes off of them.
Okay. You approach the doors here. You do not detect any magic besides abjuration magic that's provided to the sigil at the center point.
So there's abjuration magic in the door, right? Is that what you
On
said?
the sigil that sits between the two gates, right? So the gates are kind of here. There's no seam, but you know there's a break because the sigil's there, and that has abjuration magic emanating from it.
Okay. It seems like it has a magical lock. Let me see if I can take care of this, and I'll walk up to the door and cast knock.
Okay. So as you cast knock, it echoes through. As it does, there's a vibration and a hum. The door and the gate does not open. From your interpretation, from what the spell does, is that the magic that's coming off of here is not the lock. And the gate does not open by mundane means.
So if I mean, I'm just checking, but it says if the target is held shut with an arcane lock, the spell is suppressed for 10 minutes. So it's
Correct. So it hasn't
not-
opened, which means it's not an arcane
It's-
lock, and the
okay.
lock itself is not mundane. So if there's a physical component here,
Right.
it's not mundane.
It probably would need to be dispelled then.
Can't you just teleport to the other side?
I don't have that spell prepared. Tegan does. He's away.
Tegan is
away.
AFK.
Yeah.
Is it a good time for a break, maybe? So Tegan come
Yeah,
back? I don't know.
probably.
Or are we going to wait? Or is that what everyone agrees upon, doing a dispel here? Or going through dimension door?
Either one.
I don't want to use a spell like that because without his permission.
No, that's I guess I'm saying is that there's no ideas that you all have that doesn't involve Tegan's dimension door. I guess.
Well, can I make an Arcana check on this door and see if I can glean any more from it?
Go ahead,
So
roll.
I have an idea.
Any writing around it?
There is no writing on the sigil. It's just the designation of the kind of the symbol, right, of the clan. 19 Arcana check, based on the abjuration magic and it coming through here. It is not a magical seal that is inherent to opening the gates. It is a magic seal that must protect what lies within. It's not stopping the gates from being opened, it's stopping magic from escaping.
Okay.
Oh, so once we're in, we're in.
So
Hmm.
let's take a look at the lock itself.
Yeah, can I investigate, I guess, everything? Just start banging on stuff with my fist, see if I could find a hollow point, a weak point, anything?
Now, Varus already tried knocking. It was a good idea. But
Yeah, it was a massive audible kind of knock.
Yeah, but it was
300
kind of
feet, baby.
over everything, right?
Yeah. Can
300
I?
feet.
You can make an investigation check if you're looking for more clues, sure.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Can I see if like we can open it, like or with an investigation check? Is there something like physical we can do to open it?
Sure. Go ahead and roll investigation.
I
We
have a
just push on
pickaxe.
it. Says open.
A few different things here, general clues and then investigation. In terms of Varus with 13, we'll start with you. There is no mechanical means to open this on this side. You're not finding a lever or a handle or any groove or hidden space or pocket. The sigil itself seems to be welded upon out of mithril and steel. And you look into the claw marks of the Golden Gate as well, is that it's not just solid gold, but also is embedded with mithril. You knock upon it with your previous knock as well as now, and you notice that it is solid. There's no hollow. But beyond this, could be anything, right? You don't know what lies on the other side of this. There's no scene, there's nothing to go off. So you just hear solid gold and mithril coming back in your investigations. With Thanos, you go through an 8 investigation. You're looking for general clues, right? Anything that could potentially help you. There's nothing that you find with your investigation check that will help you open this gate. You can see that the gate itself is embedded into the mountainside. So it actually extends. There's no seams in the top or the bottom. It goes in to the mountains. The top, the bottom, and the left and the right. The carving of the stone and the way it's done is to work with the natural formations and basically embed this gate to make it impregnable. So whatever mechanism to open a gate like this, and Varys and Thanos, both of you understand, has to be extreme mechanical means. This is heavy as a motherfucker. This is massive. So in order to move something like this, you either have to have gears, levers, chains being pulled manually, magically perhaps, but it's a mechanism that does not exist on the gate itself.
Which means there has to be space on the other side of the door, so we could realistically teleport. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know what's going on with Tegan.
he
Okay,
said
so
in
he
said-
chat
tele-
he's going to be
back in
AFK for a
5
while.
minutes.
I don't think you could teleport everyone, could you?
He can just
No.
teleport
Him and one
him
person.
and one person.
If you don't find a way to open the gate, you're going to be stuck.
But
That
he
is
could
true.
teleport them back
Unless you
out.
teleport back out, I suppose, yes.
Oh, well,
Hopefully.
didn't Varys just tell us about the seal that is meant to keep magic in?
Yeah. It seems that way. Although,
Guys, go ahead.
I don't think they would make a door with no way in from the outside unless there's something inside that's extremely dangerous. So, with that in mind, I don't know if it's a good idea for just 2 people to go in on their own. I don't know. It's tricky because I don't want to burn a high level spell on something that won't work. But we're kind of also out of options here. If I use the spell and it doesn't work, are we okay taking a short rest?
It's not like we're going anywhere.
Okay. I will cast Dispel Magic on the door, on the seal.
Go ahead and make a roll.
What, like an intelligence check?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So as you unleash that dispel magic upon the seal, it seems that the magic has been dispelled. There is no consequence. Nothing happens afterwards. It's just no longer present with magic. I think at that point your detect magic will probably run out.
Okay. So there's nothing stopping anyone from coming out now, or anything. Now would be the time to go inside and check if there's a mechanical way to go in, of letting all of us in.
That's a fair point.
And we can't just push it. It's locked, right?
I mean, if the 2 strong men want to push it, then would be my guess. But I would imagine, with it being mithril, it's extremely hard to push open.
Well, we got the impression that it doesn't go inwards. It probably has to slide one direction
Somewhere.
or the other, right? Because you said it went into the mountainside.
And it was seamless.
Into the mountainside in this perspective that there is no gaps, right? So
Right.
it could mean that the mountains are kind of encroaching, like growing over it, maybe. And so the only way it can is open inside. Like it can't open outside because the stone and the rock is like growing over it, right? So if you think about it, either it opens from left to right, or it opens inwards, or it opens up, right? So these are kind of the general things, but you know because of the seal that it splits. But this is a marker that somehow this is going to split. So either it's going to divide, or it's going to be pushed inwards.
Oh yeah, sure. I would give it a big old shove.
All right, go ahead and make a strength check. You can roll with advantage. I'll let Lucar help you. So 22. You then begin to push, and it doesn't move. Does not move at all. I need you to make a perception check.
Oh, this will be great.
For one.
I told you.
Okay.
Yep,
I
it's
think
solid.
at
No
that
whammy,
point,
no whammy, no whammy.
I think at that point I will sit down to take a short rest so I can arcane recover. I can use arcane recovery.
Okay. Short rest, taking an hour here to kind of contemplate and begin to figure things out. No worries. We'll go ahead. It sounds like we've exhausted the options without Tegan being here. I think also Tegan crashed out of the game here. So we're going to take a 10-minute break or so. So if you're watching the stream, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. We're going to give a chance for Tegan to come back here, looking at least that they're maybe the answer to figuring this out. We'll
Well,
see.
back in the call.
Yeah.
There he is, back at the call, just time for
That-
break.
Back at the call. Tegan,
Yep, all good.
I'm muted.
we're gonna take a break. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I know you laughed and we were like kind of waiting on you, and then they're like, oh, we're just gonna take a break, so that way you can get yourself situated and settled. And then during the break, I'll tell you a little bit about what's happening here, so it sets you up when we come back. So,
Okay.
if you're watching the stream, we'll come back about 1:05 p.m. PST. We appreciate watching, and we hope you join us for the second half of the Ill-Fated as they navigate a gate.
Bye, chat.
Doors. It's always the door.
The illustrious gate.
Yes. All right. We're back. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Welcome back. Joining us for the second half of the Ill-Fated. We now get to watch them fumble over a gate. So, there's nothing else to say. We've made way to this place, quote unquote, the Sealth Rock, Golden Gates. This is where the map leads. What the hell is on the other side? We don't know. And yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we kind of have two options here, right? We either blow it up, or somebody goes through the gate.
I'm not sure we were going to be able to blow it up.
I mean, I'm sure that where there's a will, there's a way. Just throw it up there.
How do you propose we blow this up?
Well, when the dwarf hit one of our stones with a chisel, it destroyed a building.
Oh, okay.
And I have a very magical hammer that I can hit said stone with.
And then blow you
I don't
up.
know that you will survive that encounter. To be fair, the dwarf lived, so
Yeah, I'm stronger than a dwarf. You said he was old too, right? Wasn't he the one downstairs that was like? Yeah, I think I'd be fine.
I figured you weren't there for this.
No, I was there when you guys were downstairs, and he was in the cell coughing.
Oh yeah, he was still there. Yes.
Yeah.
He was quite old.
Tegan, you want to approach the door and help us?
You see, this feels like I'm gonna have to do something that I'm not gonna want to do, and it may result in me dying. So, like, I said, you know what? It's not even worth the breath. I just grabbed Maldor and I cast Dimension Door.
Where?
Very
Very specific.
Direct
Very
to the
specific.
other side of the door. I'll go 50 feet to be safe.
You're gonna go 50 feet past where you and Maldor's current position is here.
Or past the door. Yeah.
Right here, 50 feet to the north.
Sorry, I was logging back into Foundry.
Personally, I would cut it back to 30 just because, like, if there's a room, it's more likely to be 30 than 50.
Yeah, I would have said
Mm.
30 to 15, somewhere in there. You know, I
Okay,
don't,
pause for a
So
second.
the wall could be 15 feet thick.
yeah. So
I mean, I hope not.
I think 30 is a happy medium of like not too far, but not. But it's
30?
up to you.
Okay.
Okay.
If I'm gonna die, I'd rather it be on you guys than me. So we'll go 30.
It's literally 4d6 of force damage. Jeez, y'all are a bunch.
Until we teleport into a volcano.
I mean, then
So-
I'm pretty sure you. I don't even know
Yeah.
how that would play out.
You grab Maldor's shoulder. You begin direct
Wait,
your
hold on.
force 30
Hold on.
feet to the north. The echo appears in space,
Okay, go.
and you go 30 feet. As you teleport into this space, you appear the other side.
Oh yeah, Maldor, did you link up with one of us before you left, or you just
No,
he's got the echo here.
okay?
At your backside, you can see the Golden Gate, large and impressive. What stands out to you is that there are two spots high up in the distance. You know, the gates, I described them as being 35 feet tall, so these are just below that 35-foot ceiling height, as well as the gate itself. They fit into channels or grooves that go in to the actual gate, into the gold and into the mithril, passing through into the interior of the space. Based on the direction of the light emitting from the lava pool in front of you, the statues that flank either side and are about 5 feet to the chain underneath, is that this is a second gate. There are two, both of which opened by similar means. The chain continues through channels and grooves of pillars, as they not only support the chain, but also the bridge itself, scaffolding it, as well as the stone going directly into a pool, a lake underneath. The 4-foot half wall here is only a minor protection from the 120-foot drop to the waterline below in a dark, murky pool. A statue made from obsidian sits slightly heated in a lava pool with a 2-foot lip. The statue is dedicated to some king, royal dwarven figure, wearing dwarven plate, wielding 2 warhammers. The chains continue towards 2 towers, respectively, on the left and right hand side. They are bastion. So, bastion is a term that extends, it's a protrusion, right? So that's referred to, like, if you have a wall of some kind, you have a bastion, which means you are able to fire down on people who go right up to the wall. So these towers have 3 faces, okay? Like a half of a hexagon. They extend out to you, off map on the northern side. In fact, literally directly off map. They are between a large semi-arched space with a 35-foot ceiling height that extends further into the darkness. You'd imagine that there are ways to get to those 2 towers to the left and right through that archway and before you get to whatever lies ahead in the darkness, because piles of rubble and debris begin to emerge in the shadows to the north, where this bridge is leading. The towers have 3 faces, right, as I described, and they work themselves about 20 feet. 10 foot is the top level, meaning 10 feet below must be another level that you cannot see simply because there are no openings. The top level has 3 openings, right? 3 faces. They're open, expanding outwards. The chain goes between the levels. And from your perceptions with the lava and the bubblingness that are pooling, enough light is garnished that you can understand that the mechanisms are in the top level of the 2 towers, left and right, however they may be to open. Unpaused.
Okay.
You see?
Well.
Lava.
You're not wrong. The echo would have poofed shortly after we departed.
All right, so do you think there's any way you can get your echo up there?
Might be able to get up there. What? How big are the openings? Are they like slits for viewing, or is it like a person-sized opening?
They're slits for viewing. They are not necessarily arrow slits, right? But they are designed to have optimal viewpoint, potentially to fire siege weapons out of them. So the actual height of the opening is 10 feet. It's almost the entirety. It's almost like a 1 or 1.5 foot lip. And the width of them is about 10 to 15 feet on each face. So they're massive. As I said, they garnish most of the northern wall, not for the cutoff where the bridge leads.
You said there was rubble that appeared in the shadows. Does it appear like there was any sort of conflict or struggle?
It's exactly that. It appears that there is intentional destruction from the ceiling above. Now, moving a little bit more to the north, you can see the bridge exactly ends where that archway is. And you can see that the rubbling is from the ceiling as it cascaded down. Large bits of stone has either been brought by large earthquakes or intentional means. From seeing in the darkness and the shadows, the passageways, which would be on the left and right along this corridor before going into the next chamber, have been blocked by the rubble. But the 2 passageways that would go into the towers are blocked. Perhaps a spiraling staircase, perhaps squared off, right? It's unclear.
So this area here is blocked off.
No. So, don't normally get people going to this area in this direction. So I have not created a map for this. Just FYI, because I normally have players doing it a different way. So, the best way that I could describe this to you is that the passage that goes north from here is not blocked. It is merely riddled with bits and pieces of medium to large size rubble. It's a 35-foot ceiling height of a semi-arch, and that corridor continues 10 to 15 feet or so in its width, and that continues north into the darkness. About 15 feet at the beginning of the archway and the end of the bridge, so the start of that corridor, 15 feet from that point on the left and right-hand side, are similar semi-arch, small, medium-sized spaces to go into the staircases of the towers.
Sides.
Exactly. And so those would funnel in and then go up and wrap, potentially up to what you saw those bastions that extended upright.
And that's inside the middle corridor, just to be clear.
That's correct. That's inside the corridor.
Okay.
Right. That lies north. That has been blocked. So those have been blocked. And most of the rubble is respectively to those places. So they, again, if it's either an earthquake or intentional, most of the rubble kind of cascades on the left and right-hand sides of the corridor. And it's also centraled upon those openings, as if it's been intentional to stop anybody from going up into the towers.
All right, so I pull the left chain and you pull the right chain. That should be fine. You can pull a massive chain, right?
This is what we're doing?
No, hold on. So if the opening is about 10 feet tall and it's 20 feet up,
To ascend, is what you're saying?
well, I'm trying to decide if the best bet is to like leap and grab and scramble in, or to try and pop the echo in there and just swap places with it.
You have range to do your echo and then swap places to it. If you attempted to ascend, you'd have to ascend one of the stone pillars and then essentially catwalk along the chain to get into the tower. Because there's no direct point from one of the pillars to the tower besides the chain.
Right.
You could also scale the mountainside, the wall, but that has no hand or foot grooves, which poses a significant challenge. The distance, though, to actually put your echo, if you were, is enough that you can simply just like jump upwards, throw your hand up, get the echo.
Then flip. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because I just need to be
before
within
we go
15
any
feet.
further. I'm gonna send a sending out to Varys, letting him know. I'll say to him, "We made it. There is lava, not a volcano. There's another gate,
Good distinction.
and then
Is that-
I'll send it out.
Is that it?
Yep.
What more do you want?
No, I'm just asking if that's the end of the sending.
Yeah.
And I'll turn to them. Apparently, there's another fucking gate, but this is not a volcano, but there is lava. If that makes
They
sense.
fall
Tegan says,
into the
actually, that
lava?
wasn't it. Tegan says, suck it at the end.
Oh, maybe it's a dormant
And then he
volcano.
told you to suck at Thanos.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay.
Also, out of character, I love how if I would have done 50 feet, we probably would have ended up
We'd
falling
be in
in
the
lava.
lava. Yeah,
If I die, it's on y'all.
but also if we had done 15 feet, we would have been like stuck between the gates. So
Oh,
we settled in a
no.
good space. Yeah.
So, just taking a break from the scheming here. Is there any way I could do some sort of history check to try to determine what the statue is of?
It's a dwarf.
Thank you, Maldor.
6.
It's a
A
dwarf.
dwarvish king, ruler of some kind.
Holy shit! It's a
regal.
That's
dwarf.
what you learned. What Mador told you is what you learned.
Tegan's blown away. He's like, "Wow."
This is a nice statue.
You do know,
Maldor so
though,
smart?
taking the history, I will say that most dwarven cities have larger and more grand openings. So this could have been early in the rendition of a place that is very similar to how a dwarvish city would be, or maybe a smaller town, right? Maybe a specific kind of thing to it. But again, it would be more grand, these entrances into dwarven cities, in terms of the size of them. This is the bridge being is not as wide as it is, and some of these mechanisms. This is more of the creation or the start of what would later become a fully fledged dwarven.
All right, Melder. So brute force would take a long time.
Well, let me look around one now that I'm in the tower and see what's up there.
Okay.
I'm hoping there's a switch. Otherwise, we have to either pull the chain or just destroy them and let the gate collapse.
So, now that you're up here into the tower, what you can see is a space that has a decent amount of width and length to it. At the center of this space, and where the chain actually is going underneath the stone of the flooring of this top level, then comes outwards in the direction of a large, massive rotary-like wheel. So similar to that of if you were to grab these pylons and kind of shift around like a mill kind of deal, this is how this would work. Now, it doesn't actually have any sort of means to manually move this. Okay, so there's no actual pylons. It's just a central piece that the chain is kind of wrapping around. And then that goes into the ceiling of this, about 10 feet, and disappears, right? This cylindrical thing that the chain is wrapping around. The forefront of the space, which is just to your left, is a series of levers. There's 3 of them. They have Dwarvish inscribed into the stonework at the base of them, and the levers themselves are stone. From left to the middle to the right of the front facing. There is a back exit, if you will. So directly in front of you and to the right, about 20 to 25 feet. You then make your way to that semi-arched space. There's no door here. Everything's made of solid stone or metal, particularly the chains. And you can see a spiraling staircase that is descending, because you're at the height, the top of the point here. Above you in this space is a hollowed out area. So a cylindrical hollowed area in the mountain here. And there are counterweights that are all lowered down and suspended and webbed by chain. The stone has been particularly crafted into these prism-like shapes. So for you, the counterweights are lowered, which means the gates are locked. So one of the levers must be to make the chain wrap around it. Another one of the levers must mean to release the chain. And another level must be to lock it. So it makes it so that none of the other 2 levers can be used. And the chains can't manually be moved. So there are gears and mechanisms above this tower in the actual space of the stone that are not accessible. They've built it into the rock. The staircase spirals around the cylindrical space. So you're kind of spiraling around the chain and the counterweights. And then goes to the second floor underneath, and then goes to the opening, which has been destroyed down far below. And that opening being destroyed, you can see that they've attempted to destroy the counterweights, and they've attempted to destroy, but it's done hastily. They were not actually able to destroy the cylindrical chamber. They really just hastily destroyed the opening so that things couldn't easily get into the towers.
Tegan, you read Dwarvish, right?
Yes.
We're gonna need your help with this. It's just gonna toss a rope down the opening.
Oh God, another rope.
This one goes
Yeah.
up. It's fine.
Cat rope phobia.
Just tie it around your waist. I'll pull you up. You don't have to do anything.
Note to self,
Tegan
next time we're in
kind of
town,
thinks for a
find a
second, nods, and goes, "Fuck it." He'll tie the rope.
Okay, so you tie the rope around yourself and you brace. Maldor, go ahead and go for an athletics check.
Not one.
Almost.
11. So Tegan is a big boy. No, just no, 11 is perfectly fine to lift and take your time here. You're not having to stress or anything. And then, Tegan, you can also aid and pull yourself up as well. Eventually, Tegan, you get up there and you can see the levers from left to right. One says open, the middle says close, and the right-hand side says lock. Noting that the lever for the lock is in the down position, so it's closer to you. And then the other two levers are in the just unopened positions, which are front. Pushing towards the front, one's pushing towards the back. And you're kind of having that going, okay, this one's open, this one's closed, and this one's locked.
So the lock is activated.
Correct.
I look at Maldor and I say, "So unactivate the lock, and then activate open?" Question mark.
Yes, that would seem prudent.
Okay, this is your fault if it doesn't work. Look over.
You cannot have any responsibility. This character.
Can't accept anything.
He'll hit the lever.
This is how doors work, right, Maldor? Yeah, I think so. All right, it's your fault if it doesn't work.
Listen,
So,
he wants
so
to.
you grab the lock lever and you go to unlock it.
I don't want to now that you say it like
got him
that.
second guessing. Roll a dexterity saving
Fuck
throw.
it, it's Maldor's fault. So yeah.
All right, go ahead and make a strength check.
I got this.
Mhm.
Why didn't you just tell Maldor to press the right levers?
It's just a
Attack.
left.
Your
Hey!
old
I told you,
one,
I
Tegan.
got this.
You grab it. It is hard to move this bitch. This is very, very tough. And you're just shoving it, pushing all your body weight. Eventually, you unlock it, and you can hear gears and mechanisms underneath you beginning to move. So the chain mechanism, so the chain, right, and the way that's locked and moved, the gears and things are underneath, perhaps on that level below you, as well as in the ceiling in case as well. So there's a whole duo here. It has to do with that cylinder that spins and wraps the chain or unwraps the chain, and then that ties in with the counterweights, right? So as soon as you unlock it, right, that's really tough because you're simply moving these almost like pieces of metal away from the gears underneath you. You can feel it moving the ground. It's like kind of shaking and things as you're moving. And eventually it unlocks, and there's this whole lust of like dust that just kind of explodes into your backside, into that cylinder cavity, suggesting that there is dust and things that have kind of accumulated over the time, and you kind of thrusted those into the open air space behind you. You open?
Okay,
Good job.
I think I pulled something in my shoulder.
I've never seen anyone sweat that much with a switch.
Like in real life, or you're talking to say your character?
No, my character.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Quality roleplay.
Did say-
Shit, you don't on your shoulder. Like, oh gosh.
You know what, Maldor? Why don't you get that one?
Which one?
This one says open.
All right.
Wait. If
He's trying to find a way to push off fucking ownership without reading the door.
If this does work,
this is the same on the other side, and he just does it anyway. Good thing it doesn't budge.
So Valdor, you go to the basically open, which you've been pushed, and you're kind of shoving it, and it just does not budge.
I think you're better with switches than I am.
When someone tells you to wait, typically you should probably wait.
Debatable.
If this is the same on the other side, and that mechanism is also locked, if we try to open this, are we gonna break it?
I guess that depends if there's more than one door.
Well, there's 2 towers and 1 gate, so obviously they're.
Well, the gate might split. You could open one side.
Or we could break it.
It would be a pretty shitty design if you flip the wrong switch and the damn thing just breaks. I mean, the wall is not stupid.
Yeah, but this has also been like destroyed. Like we don't. I just want to make sure that we're being as careful as possible.
We need
Plus,
to go
all you have
unlock
to
the
do
other
is blip blip and then blip blip, and you're there.
Blip, 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 blip,
Blip,
I'm
blip.
going to
Blip,
assume
blip,
the
blip,
dwarves, the switches are in the same order as the other side.
I'm gonna go up to the door and knock on it. And be like, "Is everything okay in there?"
Both
Can we
don't
hear the-
or anything? No.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
assume not.
Say that threw in a whole nother like wall. It
15
sounds
feet
like.
of
There's
mithril.
like 2
No,
different
no
gates.
sound.
I was hoping that would spark them to hurry
Alright, fine.
up.
Yeah, so we'll try. I'm not even gonna move him, but yeah, we'll he'll blip blip over to the other side and go flip the unlock switch on that side.
Okay. Go make a strength check.
Or will he?
Okay. Begin to move it, and it's difficult to do, but you are successful unlocking it.
All right, this side's unlocked. We're gonna do them together on 3.
Hold on. Just wait.
1, 2.
No, you got this. You got
Three.
this. You got. I'm gonna give myself Bardic.
All right. You don't need to apply. You don't need to apply to your strength. Just roll your strength check and then you get out a D8. All right. So 17.
He's just a beast.
I don't need the D8 from you. So Mulder, you grab on
Okay.
yours and you slip on some of the dust of the stone, and you simply just kind of fall off to your half shoulder into a crouch kind of thing. And then Tegan, you get yours pushed, and this massive steam kind of mechanisms kind of emerge. You hear this like steam just like a pressurized system that expands outwards and then releases. And some of the actual water below is almost heated. So now there's like steam kind of coming up from the lake. So perhaps they actually have mechanisms to dispense lava to the water to heat it, produce steam, and then that uses that force to make the gates open. So then your side of the gate here, Tegan, is beginning to open. I'm going to have them both. It's both gates open at the same time. They're pulled by the same chain, and they kind of funnel themselves like this, right? They kind of fold, making one central long line of golden mithril from the left and right. So you can't see Varys as you pass through any of the cubby spaces to the left and right, because those are filled by the gate as it passes and opens itself. They don't open all the way. They're kind of opening just enough to create that opening. And so some of the actual sides of the gate and the hinges that are kind of invisible and things, those are actually where the gate is opening. So it's not the entire width of the golden thing that's opening. It's actually only part of it. And there's kind of cupping and different sorts of leaflet that fit over the hinges that you can't see. So as you pass into the one side of the gate that opened, Maldor, it becomes apparent that you were not successful, but nothing's broken.
This side is
And-
damaged.
Yeah.
So
And the-
What
and
are
the
you
gate
talking
is
about?
open on that side.
Well done, guys. Why did only
I
one
lean out
side
the
of the
window.
gate open?
that's very.
I did it. Holy shit!
I told you guys, just teleport in, open the gate. I'm proud of you. Can we
Out
go
of
down?
curiosity, where would
Just
they have
covering
ended
all
up if they had?
bases. There's
Where would they
lava.
have?
We don't know this is not a volcano.
Where'd y'all actually end up in?
Oh,
Yeah, where did y'all land?
We landed right here.
So if you got 50, you'd been right there on the edge.
yeah, you
Yeah,
would
would've
have fallen
been
right
right
into
in
the
the
lava.
Right in the
And
lava.
15 minutes later, it was like, yeah.
The only
He's like,
thing
"I
was supposed to be
fucking knew
46 more
You son
days.
This is all happened there.
That's why I popped the echo out. You tell us into lava. I was just gonna bamf and leave your ass there. I had like 6
That's how
seconds. to
Tegan
get out.
goes out.
Yeah.
Well, should we continue onward?
Onward and inward.
I really hope there's something really awesome in here.
Well, Maldor still has to make the
Really
check
cool.
to open the fucking door.
No, we have one side open. We only need one side.
Yeah, everybody's in.
Actually, maybe we should close this behind us.
It took them like 12 hours to figure out how to open it. You want to close it now?
Well, just
I'm
in
sorry.
case that
Did it
something-
work?
No, I said great work already. Good job.
I did
No,
too.
I'm talking.
It
to
just
Sneaky
took
Boy
12
over there.
years.
What if we need to leave quickly?
Yeah.
They're
I don't know.
quite
I'm just
difficult to
afraid
open.
of something following us.
I mean, nothing's been here besides us for a long time. I checked the tracks and
Besides-
everything, so I don't think that's the
besides us,
high
You have
risk.
alarm?
Yeah, I do, but I think. Oh yeah, okay, I can. Hold on, I'll be right
You
back.
could alarm the bridge, yeah.
Well, I was also going to say anything that's going to follow us that wants to kill us is going to break those doors anyway.
I will set the alarm spell at the base of the door and have it go
I'll
off in
kind
my
of
head.
take a few steps towards the door and go,
Okay.
"Oh my God, it's Grugash!"
I will not react to that because that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Once I have the alarm spell set, I will be back up with the group.
Come on,
So-
Barbar. Actually, I don't know that name. Never mind. Come on,
Yeah.
Varus.
I don't think it's ever been shared what Varvar is. Yeah.
It will never be shared.
Probably the
One-
I
smartest.
will
one
only
day-
be bullied out of character. Thank you.
One day Maldor will have detect faults. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I
So
have a
you
mouse.
begin to get off of the bridge here, and you pass into the corridor, which then begins to widen up from its meager 10 to like 15 to 20 feet to 25, flanked by two of these statues. This is where the light actually is going to end in terms of what you get in the lava, right? So you're not getting any more advantages to your vision here, right? So all the light, it's completely pitch black at this point. So Thanos, you are invisible in this condition here. You have two statues on the left and right for those who have dark vision. You can see they extend upwards to a ceiling height of 35 feet. And this corridor kind of like is a tunnel that opens up and then extends into a massive, large entry hall. You can't actually see the ceiling height in this chamber. There's no light coming through the ceiling. And in terms of your dark vision, you're all getting different things respectively. So, Zeph, I'm going to give you the kind of description because you can see this entire space.
Well,
I was
just in case it
I was
matter-
gonna cast
I was also-
light on the tip of my staff.
Well, I was also going to go ahead and just do Eyes of the Night to help everyone.
Okay, so you're going to do Eyes of the Night. Who are you giving it to?
Yeah. I always forget how many.
Well,
Yeah,
if he's-
4.
If he's
Or
doing
I
that,
believe-
then maybe
Yeah,
I
it's,
won't cast light.
I think technically Varus
Lucar and Varus are the only
Lucar
ones
the only two
that can't
have
see,
to have
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's 4 anyway, you guys may as well get the increase.
Wisdom modifier up to 5.
So 5.
I-
Is
I
that the
incre-
5? So
I increased my
everybody?
I increased my wisdom, so
So everyone but, well, everyone, basically.
Yeah, except
Mm.
yourself. He's already
So-
got it, basically. So.
Yeah.
Maldor, me, Thanos, and Alexander.
Alexander.
Well, it's, so Zeph doesn't.
Alexander's
Zeph doesn't.
not here.
Yes. So Zeph doesn't need it. So pretty much just everybody.
Yeah, just everybody.
Yeah.
No, I
Right,
was
just
just,
it's
I was just
everyone.
screwing Varus.
Okay.
He was being
I
an
I told
asshole.
Alexander to fuck off.
Did you
I mean,
ever
look.
flip him out, or is he just still
Nope.
at the fort?
No, he's still at the fort. He's learning his lesson because he talked back to me all the fucking time.
You left
Bro,
Alexander. after
Varus
the
is
fall.
going into,
Yeah.
he's going through this very evil arc. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Okay.
Varus
So-
is the BBEG. It's
Now
canon.
prompted, your pupils kind of expand outwards.
Wait, I can't
the
see
ethereal of the
anything.
twilight allows you to. Oh, I didn't put it on you. Sorry about that.
Everyone except
Except the guy that can't see anything. in the
My
dark.
bad. I think I actually put on you, Zev. I got two bits mixed up. Okay. Okay. So you all have a good range of sight on this particular map. This map is larger than it is in terms of its height and its length. These things, even with the improved dark vision here, dark vision up to 300 feet, you still cannot see the ceiling height. So this extends further
Crazy.
than 300 feet in the mountains. These pillars are massive. Many of them showcasing the sturdiness. They're just solid stone that has been carved from the mountainside to extend upwards and support that exceptionally high ceiling. You know that some of them are smaller, these pillars that are smaller, and they do not extend like this one here. They don't extend to the ceiling height. They actually extend to what would be a stone kind of roofing that has been tiled and created to become sturdy enough to support winch-like mechanisms for lowering like an elevator downwards through shafts. But that roof has been destroyed and cascaded down into the shaft, as well as some bits of the ceiling has come downwards, very much intentional. In fact, the actual shafts of the, what you mentioned to be elevators that are nearby the staircases that spiral and round down with the solid stone that kind of comes through and then perennials over itself, forming these kind of slug-like tunnels. It's where the actual staircase descends to. Those elevator shafts have been filled as well in a similar manner. So there has been much intentional destruction here, it would seem, or it has been an earthquake that has kind of erupted through this space and destroyed. You notice there are scorch marks, blackish scorch marks. There's bodies that are decayed, skeletons, as well as just bodies that have yet to be fully decomposed in this amount of time that's been lost here. With any sort of weathering or effects, right, it's really difficult to decompose. There is air in here. You can breathe. So there's boreholes. There's ventilation that is happening here. But a stench is thick of death. It's wafting through. You can smell that rotting flesh. Bits and rubble from the ceiling above, perhaps. There's also bits of wood that has been broken up. They resemble furnishings. So if you look from north and south, you can notice these long tables. They have been destroyed, smashed to bits and smithereens. There's many of them have been destroyed by rocks from above, like stonework that has come down upon them, and then there are further bodies to the north and south. The actual chamber itself extends into the eastern direction, and again, north to south as well, into the darkness, which is past your 300 feet. This is the reason why we're on this particular map, is because with your dark vision, there is something that lies up ahead. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal that to you all. They're not stealth at all, but they're difficult to see. In fact, Zeph, only your passive perception here is actually able to see these tiny sized creatures. They are skulls that are hovering in the air. So they are just like hovering and bobbing, and they're kind of moving and looking around. So immediately you kind of stop, right? You threw off the dark vision probably before you came into the space a little bit, just because we're ending light. And now you kind of stopped. You put up the hand, perhaps, noting that you spot something.
Yeah. I'm assuming definitely. I know what, but I'm assuming nobody here probably knows what they are. So I'll be like, float skull thingies way down there.
But what?
Do you want me to shoot them?
If I could see the flames.
They are not alit.
Lit? Oh, I would end up light with. Oh.
They are not alit currently.
Oh.
So no light is being visible from their presence, just floating skulls.
Okay, so just floating skulls.
Okay, I'm just gonna walk in to see if I could find out what he's talking about.
Be very, very quiet.
Yeah, we'll be. Actually, I'm gonna cast Pass Without Trace on.
Yeah, the stealth.
I was like, "Where's Thanos?" So then I remembered he's always invisible.
Yeah, I would continue into the passage, kind of quietly, stealthily, as I look around.
Say, are we waiting for Thanos to, do his thing, or are we going in
He'll
after
be here
him?
eventually.
I think a bunch of people just upped out of the video thing.
Oh, those are the skulls.
Yeah, Zeph, I think you're getting a ping spike.
Yeah, you were breaking up a bit there for a minute.
Are we going in, or are we just gonna stand here? Or...
We're waiting on
Apparently there are
Thanos.
skulls floating.
Let me drop it in the call because I'm only showing like 3 other people besides me.
Yeah, your packet loss is pretty off the charts. Why don't you give it a refresh?
One of these days, I'm going to establish a link with Thanos before he disappears.
One of these days, you'll remember.
There you go.
Welcome back.
There he is. He's back.
Now, people. Yeah, the problem was one of the people I couldn't see was Michael.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. So I don't know why all of a sudden.
Mhm.
Oh, did I miss anything?
Yeah, he told you to make a deck saving throw. Oh.
I will walk back to the party and whisper. So, should I just go stab these skulls? What's the easiest way for me to get rid of these things?
Well, they've obviously been down here for a very long time, so they're probably not pushovers either, or at least dangerous in any case.
Did you see anything else in the room?
No, the skulls were the only thing. There's a few staircases that seem to go. It looks like both directions, unless I'm reading the map wrong.
Well, here's the thing. I would rather engage them. Here's my thought process. I'd rather engage them now while we're close to the exit so we can have a swift retreat if we need to, rather than get upstairs,
True.
get surrounded,
Historically,
get overwhelmed.
historically speaking, we're not very stealthy.
Yeah.
Also, you should.
My main concern, I don't know how big of a concern it is, but my main concern is because I agree about getting rid of them, but I don't know if there are more that would be attracted.
So do it quickly and quietly. Yes, I do have.
I think
You should
quietly
notice.
is unlikely.
So no shattering.
Quickly, perhaps,
Well,
but quietly.
Yeah, I
is
think
not-
quickly.
As long as we stick in a group, you'll be a little bit stealthier than normal.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. We can try
Lead
it.
the way.
Yeah, let's.
We can't see you, though, is the problem.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maldor,
I'm
you
gonna-
lead the way, and I will just stick behind you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to stealth.
I will sneakily
Try.
walk my way towards the.
I will sneakily follow.
And they should all have pass without a trace too, because we're within 30
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
Right?
So
Okay,
where's
20.
stealth?
I'm just gonna add the 20 on manually.
Yeah.
Another natural. We got a natural 1 coming from Tegan.
I like how you did worse than Maldor. in full plate.
Kara gets a 20 as well. Gets to push forward.
Oh, it's
You
so
just like
I got
tripped
it.
on a corpse or something.
Really need pass without trace, that's for sure.
I like to think Tegan starts walking and just knocks over like one of the pillars.
I was wanting to ask, where are these
bookshelves
right here?
in the
These
library.
alcoves?
So those pillars there are of dwarvish warriors. As they stand
Oh.
with warhammers in the center points of their chest, their heads are downwards. They then have a off kind of hand coming through as if they're greeting you to kind of come into the entry chamber here. The actual placards that state upon them are like in dwarvish, right? And so Tegan, you're able to understand that are warm welcomes in dwarvish. And they state upon their warm welcomes to Girder. So somehow they're calling this place Girder. So Tegan, you're able to see that. Now, pressing forward, Tegan, I need you and you alone to move your token.
To what?
Just move your token.
Okay.
So Tegan, you move. As you get a natural 1, you hit a bit of rock in front of you.
But
You
it's a
didn't exactly see.
17.
You then begin to fall to your half crouch, kicking the stone forward, creating noises. You see as the 2 skulls turn the direction, begin to cackle with vibrance and energy. The actual skulls themselves begin to emit light. This purplish light begins to come through. I'm going to go ahead and edit their tokens now to provide that light.
I knew I should just went up and coup de grace them.
I'm back.
You're back.
I feel like it was an
Nice.
appropriate time to turn that off.
Back like
That's
you never
good.
left.
As they emit the light, you can see from the staircases these horrors, wraiths begin to emerge. They begin to manifest themselves. They are 5 to 6 feet tall, with no legs and shadows and reddish eyes. Just shadows in the darkness as they begin to kind of form and pull upon themselves, called to the sound more so begin to emerge, stepping forward from another staircase, and another 2 emerge, stepping forward from another staircase. As they come outwards to the sound of the noise, these tokens are very difficult to see, so I'm going to ping. There.
Yeah.
There.
What?
There. There.
I just used the alt to highlight them.
That works too. Now, as they emerge at the same time, ghosts, dwarvish ghosts, begin to emerge in space, using warhammers and shields. As they emerge, they look towards the skulls and to the horrors. I need everyone to roll initiatives.
Oh boy!
Gosh,
it really,
darn it.
it really helped that the dwarf ghosts are friendly.
Oh, how did I roll a 9?
I rolled a 3.
Why is it? I hate this advantage on initiative. It's always either too good, like 2 good rolls in a row, or 2 bad rolls in a row. It doesn't change anything.
What's your initiative here, Varys?
11.
Okay, so that's true to it. Okay,
Because I rolled a 2 the second time
All
I
right.
roll.
everyone's rolled up.
Mhm.
Oh boy. Boy.
Combat has begun. So, as the ghosts emerge, you can see the skull, whose turn it is first, look in the direction of that ghost directly in front. As it does, its mouth opens and fires off a fire ray. Extends towards
yeah.
the ghost. The ghost
They
is
are
set to
friendly.
16. As it takes 14 total points of fire damage, it seems to resist that fire damage down to only a meager 7 as its corporate form almost takes it in rash, and then turns its warhammer and yells outwards, dwarvish. As he yells outwards, charge! Tegan is what you hear from the voice coming through. That ends its turn. Zeph, you're up next.
Oh boy. I hate being on
They're
top
on
of
our
this shit.
side. They're on our side.
Well, I think more to the point, they're against the skulls. But potato. Boy. How to deal with shadows? Well, I'll just do my. Where's it go? Oh, I forget the name of it for some reason. The sanctuary thing. That's what I'm looking for. I am fighting. Oh, there it is.
Oh, your Twilight Sanctuary?
Yeah, I don't know why I keep blanking on the name. I think it's because it's called Channel Illuminated. Twilight
Your most
Sanctuary.
used feature, sir?
I need a macro or something for that. I'll to make that. Yeah, I'll just drag it over and make it easier on myself.
That works too.
Then I'll move forward.
So Zeph, as you move forward, you bump into Thanos.
Yes. Well, he would be visible now, right? Because
Oh, yeah, he
the
would
light
be.
of the sanctuary.
Well, the light that it's emitted,
Doesn't
honestly, let me see. I gotta clarify things. Since I
It's dim light.
Yeah, I'm
but-
looking at the feature right now.
You gotta look at your feature.
What is it under? Umbral? No, it's not Umbral Sight. Do I not have
I
it
always-
dragged in?
Yeah, no, I'll look it up real quick. I think you do. You have to be like in complete darkness, but let me make sure. Because technically it's dim light. That's not complete darkness at that point. Which I think we've played in that way before, so I just want to make sure that we get the ruling right.
Yeah, I'm only saying this because I'm pretty sure that's what we've done before.
While in darkness, you're invisible to any creature that relies on darkness to see into the darkness. So yeah, you're no longer invisible.
Yep.
So Seth, as you cast it, you can change your movement here, because you can
Oh.
see that Thanos is now visible. So
You can show
change
him
your
out of the way.
movement.
It's fine.
Yeah, and honestly, knowing that he's there, I would probably walk back and say, "Oh wait, I thought you were farther ahead." And then I'll bonus action spiritual weapon and attack this guy or shadow thing. What? I can't. They won't let me do the spiritual weapon thing.
Oh,
to throw
your
it out?
stuff is broken.
Don't you have to target yourself, right?
Yeah, you have to target yourself when you do
For
it.
spiritual weapon?
Yeah, the spiritual weapon is the target because it wants to read off your sheet. when it
Oh,
puts it out.
well, it still won't let me.
Really interesting.
Operation blocked due to missing user permissions.
Oh,
Bum bum bum.
Did they update MIDI or something?
Let me throw it out for you.
But yeah.
Okay, go ahead and move where you want.
Yeah, right up to this guy and attacking him.
Okay.
Or it.
Or-
What? Spiritual weapon is incapacitated.
Oh, put 1 HP on it. There you go. Go ahead. And do
It's
it.
basically what this like.
I like how every time we update modules, you are always absolutely fucked by it. That's so funny.
You get wrecked.
There we go.
21 hits it, deals 9 points of force damage. As you pull it back and kind of swing through, it kind of hits into the shadowness of it, and kind of pulls it through. It kind of hovers and then pulls back into itself.
All right. I'll probably pull back a little bit more. I give Thanos a little, well, not that much, a little bit more room to move around.
Okay. All right. Giving yourself temporary HP. I'll go ahead and apply that for you there. We now come to the other Flame Skull who rolled high in the initial order. Now, dim light's provided. It seems it looks towards past the ghost. As it does, it begins to open its mouth as a fireball erupts directly epicenter towards you, Zephyr. You are the target because you are the source of light in the shroud. As it fires it off, the fireball yeets through the air, explodes in a purplish, bluish white energy as it kind of evaporates and explodes into your party.
Thank you for backing up.
Yeah.
All right, looks like Lucar 25, Zeph 23, Varus 21, and Thanos 9. Thanos, you have failed. Applying damage, 24 total points of damage. For those who have succeeded, it's only half. The skull then begins to kind of pull itself back as it moves in a hover-like condition. And as it moves, you can notice that it does move quite quickly. It's going to pull itself back roughly 40 or so feet as it kind of flies through, bobbing and zipping into the air, then kind of rotating and turning itself back towards the rest of the party. Concentration, Thanos, you have failed with an 8. Your pass without trace is ended, as well as for the rest of the party. Ending the Flame Skull's turn. We now come to a white. This creature begins to pull itself, moving 15 feet, looks in the direction of one of the ghosts. As it does, it stretches its hand and fires off a bolt of energy of some kind as it throws its hand in the direction of the ghost. The ghost is hit with an 11, and as such takes no points of damage as the ghost is immune to necrosis. So it pulls apart in space as electrical kind of comes through. Seeing that the white is seeing that it's unable to really do damage, it then continues its movement speed in the direction of the ghost, raises both of its claws upright, emerging from the shadows, and is coming at the ghost directly. In similar fashion, this one does the same thing, sends off a grave bolt, unable to connect, and then continues to move forward. This one as well does the same thing, so showcasing that they lack some intelligence to coordinate between themselves here as they're setting off very similar attacks. We now come to the top side of the top left staircase. This creature is unhit. It then begins to push past, moving 20 feet into the shroud, looks towards you, Zeph. Seeing the shroudiness of your twilight, you're very much targeted with the dim light emanating from you. You're the focus and attention. It sends up a bolt of the same orangish electricity, natural 20. Extends out.
I'll make it re-roll that with the chrono shift.
Everybody's
Right,
targeting me now.
It is still going to hit, but it is not a natural 20. As you are hit, you are dealt with 11 points of necrotic damage as it strikes into you. It seems to have some sort of effect. It's kind of shrouding you, kind of similar to Toll of the Dead, right, where it's just pulling necrosis as the bolt kind of strikes you. It then begins to continue its movement and its advances, using the remainder of its movement speed to get right up on you.
And
We now
like
come
it.
to the ghost. Hovering in incorporeal form, it comes in for a swing with its hammer. As it does, 24 is going to connect in. As you can see, the creature in front of them only takes 7 points of damage. It's able to resist from the 14 down of necrotic damage. So they're exchanging blows of necrosis. So they're both undead creatures. Varus, you're up next.
So I have a question. The way that wall of fire works, can it fit between two people? Like, how thick is the wall?
So I'm going to answer your question with who you want to be on the one face. So one side is taken by that 5 feet. So the wall is going to create exactly a wall. And then the 5 feet or so, right, on the face of side of that damage is what's going to take it. So if you're going to put it between two people, that generally is not going to work because one side is going to be hit by the fire and the other side's not. If they're teammates, right? But if you're putting it between, let's say, Zeph and the creature there, you can make it so it forms the wall, and then
Yeah,
everything on that
That
side
was
is
what I
damaged.
was curious about. So, I think what I would want to do, since it's a 60-foot wall, is I want to start it like at Lucar and make it between Zeph and this thing with the damage side out, going all the way up here, and then curling the rest of it around the rest of our party. And basically just being like, we don't have to worry. Or actually, I will scratch that. I'll just do a 60-foot wall here, and we won't have to worry about anything coming from that side.
Rip Tegan.
He's fine.
Okay, let me see if I can draw. I'm going to just do it freehand. I think it's going to be easiest. Can you put your measure ruler down again?
Yeah, so 60 foot from here. Sorry. I think it's 60 foot the whole, yeah. Right there. And that's just the wall fire with the damage side out towards that creature. So, here, let me cast it. Oh, wow.
Don't lay it down. It's not necessary because then it's going to target. We can use the drawing tool. It works a lot better. So just use it to expel the spell slot here, and then manually roll 5d8 for me. It's okay. Set the template down. All right. The creature is going to fail with an 8. It takes 18 points of fire damage. Now, that will be associated when the wall appears. Right, it's immediate. And then you can get additional 5d8 when it ends its turn within 10 feet of that side or the inside of the wall. So I do need to make my drawings a little bit more. So I'll assign the 18 damage right now because it failed. So Zeph, that wall fire just like springs forth in front of you. Line of sight is blocked, right? For everything on that side, you can't see through this on either direction. So again, drawing that out. So anything within my kind of pencil tool there, that's encased by the wall fire, and that's where.
And basically, what happens when Varus casts the spell is like the tip of his staff is like a red marker, and he just draws a line, and when the line like forms on the ground, the wall just shoots up from the ground.
Right on.
Like a laser pointer.
Yeah.
Roaring flame.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I will, because knowing that those guys are probably going to rush in towards Zeph, I think I still have the ruler. I will move my movement to be next to Lucar, and then that's it for me.
Okay. All right. Applying temporary to you, we now come to Lucar. So Lucar at this point is going to see the targets on the south side here with the advanced vision that they have. They're going to advance to this position to kind of block and form a choke. So these creatures going to draw the attention. They then are going to come in for a series of 2 swings with the Bane of Barithune here. The first swing kind of coming outwards, swing 25 is going to connect. They're going to do a total of 13 points of slashing damage, and they're going to then tack on a Divine Smite. I have a macro here, so it should roll the associate because it's undead. Yep, 13 points of radiant damage is dealt as it cuts in for the first strike. Then going for the second strike on the same target, comes through. That is going to be a natural 1, unfortunately. roll percentile dice. Nothing bad happens. Just a bad swing as it stones into the actual kind of pillar there of the forming of the staircase and is unable to kind of penetrate through. They then are going to do in very typical fashion, which they've done before, which is the Shield of Faith as a bonus action, getting themselves some additional armor class to kind of boost themselves upwards, and then they maintain roaring at both these creatures to draw their attention. They're going to end their turn there. Getting some temporary, looks like max there, nice. The white, drawn and focused to the paladin, is then going to come in and target them with a melee attack as it begins to reach out to touch them. That is going to be a 23, which is an exceptional roll from this creature. It's going to hit Lucar with a 7, dealing 7 points of necrosis to them. Then prompting Lucar for a constitution check after taking that damage. The Constitution seems to want to drain their life points. You can see this funneling effect after being touched, as if Lucar's health has been kind of pulled from them. Lucar is going to succeed against that effect, and so the creature is unable to drain them of their life. Ending turn. Tegan, you're up next.
I'm gonna walk towards the edge of the fire here, and I'm gonna target this one, and as my action, I'm gonna do Dissonant Whispers.
You targeting the one in the fire?
Yes,
So you can't see that one.
but
So-
it can hear me.
It can hear you, correct. So I'm just kind of clarifying, just in case you follow up with something, just why you can't see that one. So the Distant Whisper, so you can still send it through and they can hear it. Yep.
Okay. I don't want to burn anything crazy. I'll do a second level.
All right, so Distant Whispers comes out. That is 18 points of psychic damage there. The creature with your DC of 16 is going to succeed with a 17. Is not going to be affected from simply just running away, but it is going to take half as much damage, which is successful for 9 points of psychic.
And then I'm going to bonus action give Bardic to Lucar.
Okay.
And I'll use the remainder. I always forget it has the drop down menu. Do that.
Yeah.
And I'll use the rest of my movement to just go here and end my turn.
Okay. All right, Thanos, you're up next.
All right. Seeing as how the dim light is a giant beacon, I am going to go over here to this pillar. Live my life over here, and I will actually start shooting, helping out the ghosts. So I'm going to target that one. All
right, so 20 is going to hit with the advantage for being invisible. The creature does not detect you, as well as being an unseen previously from your stealth check here. 21 piercing damage is going to thunk in. Notice that the creature is resistant to this effect here, but it seems though that your crossbow being magical and the arrows, I believe that you're using the ammunition here, is going to deal full damage.
Okay. I will take my second attack at the same one.
23 is going to be successful. Another 22 total points. As you do, you land. It's its center point. Once through it, kind of evaporates, sucked in by the ammunition. Another arrow through the center of the chest. It then kind of curls itself and swirls for a brief moment into the arrow and kind of splinters the arrow with an explosion. Creature is dead.
Rip arrows. Bonus action. I will shoot the one behind it as well.
Nice.
All right, 21 is going to hit. That deals 22 total points of piercing damage.
How much damage?
Awesome. And then I will Dreaded Ambusher for my first turn take that attack as well.
All right, and get the D8.
Hey, you get a
15
D8 on
hits.
that, by the way.
Roll the D8.
8.
All right, 25 total points of damage is dealt. As you see, similar fashion, both of those creatures vanquished on the northern side. The ghost then kind of turns into your direction where the bolts are firing. As it does, it puts the hammer across the chest and bows the head in respect, wherever the ammunition came from.
Awesome. I will end my turn behind this pillar.
Then turns its attention as it does. It begins to move its incorporeal form in a dash action directionally towards the skull. Then it's going to end its turn. This creature is going to simply begin to move. It does get about 20 feet, looks towards the wall of fire. Again, you don't have really much perceptions of this, and so it kind of begins to kind of look in the direction. You hear a hissing sound emanate from, and then it turns and looks with a dash here, and it's going to run all the way up, float all the way up to this ghost with a dash. Again, Thanos, you're kind of the only one who's able to see that creature now emerge on the side of the fire. For the rest of you, you cannot hear or see, but you could hear that hissing sound from the creature on the other side, and not a sizzling that it entered into the wall of fire. Okay. So this one's going to move in, supporting its friend. They begin to form a slight shield wall with each other, which doesn't do anything in their ghost form at all. They come through with the Warhammer, swing through. That is going to be a miss against the shadowy creature. The shadowy creature kind of pulls itself back this white, and is not hit. Lucar is going to be touched again by the creature on the south side. So that duo kind of coming through. A natural 1 from that white. Nothing bad happens, just a horrible miss as it reaches, and Lucar just kind of ducks out of the way as it kind of slowly curls from left to right. Ending turn. Another Warhammer strike from now the duo of the ghosts here that have formed their quote-unquote shield wall from a former life. 7 is not going to be successful in striking through, as the shadow is able to dodge out of the way. Maldor, you're up next.
Spread out, they have magic. Those of you with range, focus on the skulls. I'm going to draw their attention. Luca, cover the flank. He will begin to charge forward.
Okay, you bump into Thanos. Thanos, please make a dexterity saving throw.
Twice in one combat.
Jesus Christ.
All right, 22. You're successful to kind of get out of the way and I'll allow that movement. So, Meldur, what are we doing?
All right, so bonus action is going to pop out the echo there. And Thanos, I love you, brother, but I would like to control where they're attacking things. And he's going to cast light on himself.
I fucking do it. I fucking do it. I fucking do it. Oh, I can do it. Oh, Jesus. All right. Let's see if it puts the effect onto you, because it's got probably, I think, a saving throw. But yeah, I'm going to put it onto you now. No worries. Yeah. That's fine.
God, that's right.
God damn it.
Oh, there you are.
That is super funny.
Shoot the skulls. And that'll end his turn.
All right. So now we're going to come to the bottom of our round 1. This is still round 1 here. We got a lot of action happening. There's a lot of NPCs, these characters, these monsters fighting. And now we're going to really get into the thick of it. As this creature then begins to move, defending the skull, it's going to extend outwards its hand immediately, kind of touched in the direction of that ghost. It's unable to as the ghost kind of moves and shovels itself away, ending its turn. Now, the top of round 2, the ghost directly in front of it kind of looks at it and fires off what resembles that of a sphere of fire right at its backside. I'm going to go ahead and make sure here that I have the right one, because I know MIDI updates this thing like crazy. So, yeah, looks like it's changed. Okay. All right, I'll make sure it's the right one being sent out, or that it's going to be just crazy. Okay.
So much late.
It's your favorite fight ever.
So as the sphere comes outwards to the backside, it doesn't have a direct impact per se on the creature that's between, but it's kind of sends outwards this seed and then explodes outwards. That's a light source again, So more light being added into the space. Thanos, you're probably crying at this point. That creature makes no movement to encourage attack of opportunity, so it's going to stay. Zeph, you're up next.
Okie dokie. Well, I'm going to use my favorite spell and use to cast Moonbeam. No available second slot. What? I haven't used any. Oh, yeah.
Spell, man.
Oh, I used one. Oh yeah, it's because of the repeated.
It's from the repeated spiritual weapons. So just put 2 slots back to you.
That was so confusing. I'm going to upcast Moonbeam at 3rd level though.
Okay.
On these 2 guys.
All right. So nothing quite happens just yet, but that cylinder extends down.
And I can't see it, but I believe I can still move the spiritual weapon toward me at least, right?
So the spiritual weapon, you do not act by vision with it because the spiritual weapon does not give you actually any vision. Really, it's just you feeling it and then pulling it towards you. So you can move it as is.
That's as far as it goes, apparently. And
Spiritual weapon needs to make a dexterity save.
That'd be hilarious. Would it be able to attack the shadow or not, since I can't see him or not? I mean, it's within 5 feet, but...
So this is going to be, because you're blinded to the target, you know the target's in front of you, it's just simply a disadvantage. So you're just going to hold out control and swing.
That's good.
All right, 26.
Wait, wrong. No,
That's
sorry.
advantage.
Sorry,
2
I
plus
did
8,
I did the wrong
10.
one.
10 is not going to hit, so you swing wildly through, hoping to get kind of a guess of where it is, right? Because that's based on vision at that point. And you're unable to swing and strike into the
Oh
creature.
well. And hoping the shadow thingy-majig cannot see me, I will back away.
Don't. Why are you?
Why am I what?
Why are you piling up in the corner when you just spread out?
Well, every direction
Well,
is
because
bad.
somebody
I can only
cut
move
off
30
half
feet,
the
my
room.
guy.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
Why don't you get up there in counterspell range, buddy?
He didn't cast the spell, apparently. He didn't say that. It's probably like the bat, where it just does that for free.
Now come to the flame skull at the top right side. Lots of light happening. The flame skull then opens up its mouth. As it does, it extends for another fireball. You now need to measure range out.
Yeah.
I think we're safe from this one. There's a pillar.
That thing's got us.
Oh, it's got you guys. I'm not worried about y'all.
Well, I forgot that. Oh yeah, never mind.
I tried to
Worried
distract.
about it.
Of course, Varus isn't in it.
I tried to tell you.
So this is a maximum range at this point, right? To try to yeet. It's sending it out at the source of the dim light. It's really targeting you in the Twilight Sanctuary at this point. The skull is showcasing intelligence here. The skull is then fling it off as you're seeing the powers that you wield, especially the moonbeam that has been casted. As it explodes outwards, it is targeting not just you all, but also the creatures that are undead. So it's targeting all. This is an AoE here. But go ahead and assign the damage. I'll probably have to put health back onto your spiritual weapon.
Another con save? Oh yeah.
Probably going to prompt you for a moonbeam concentration.
Right, forgot about that.
Rip Moonbeam.
Okay.
Rip Moonbeam.
So the moonbeam, unfortunately, you have failed in your concentration check. Lucar has succeeded in their concentration check for the effect. Running through the saving throws, just to be sure, we had Tegan at a 26, Zeph at a 23, Lucar at a 20. All of you have succeeded, so the damage was halved. The total damage was 35, so big damage fireball there as it erupted. Lucar stands strong, so the rest of you and 2 of the creatures are vaporized in the fiery inferno of that fireball. showcasing again intelligence, but also a lack of care for the other creatures that are around. All right. Ghost on ghost. Here we go. That's not a ghost. It's a white versus a ghost. It's a duo happening here. I got to fight. 20 is going to be a hit. As it does, it strikes in. The actual damage of the creature is not doing anything per se. It's actually lowering the total hit points of the creature as it touched in, and it seems to lower it by a dramatic amount after that draining of life from the ghost. And the ghost is actually going down to a total of 33 maximum. So it's not actually changing its hit points of being wounded. It's actually making it smaller, like ripping it apart. So it's less of its incorporeal form. So it's a little bit different how that damage works. The ghost comes through, comes in for a swing.
This is a ghost on ghost crime.
I love how they're like right after each other. It's so great. All right, so as the ghost sees where the white kind of pulls itself back, it's unhit. All right, Mr. Willow, you're up next.
I will move up next to the wall here, and you see. Let's see here. I gotta measure some distance. Okay. We'll I'll gravity sinkhole. Oh god, now I can't see him. Alright, never mind. I gotta shift my screen over and recast it.
That's fine, just be aware of your spell slots.
Yeah. This is my last fourth, so it's fine. Target both of the skulls. The gravity sinkhole.
All right. So as it comes through, 23 points of force damage. This is a pull to the center, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The top one is going to fail, and it is going to be pulled in the direction of the center. I believe it's right there. So 10 feet is just going to pull in the center. The force damage is not enough to destroy it. It kind of hits it into itself and kind of smashes it about, bobbles it in the chinks. The other one is not pulled. Takes half as much damage, I believe, and its concentration of the flaming sphere is successful.
Okay. And that's it for me.
All right, ending turn. We now come to Lucar here. Lucar. Interesting. Okay. I think that was for the temporary. Oh, you already have maximum temporary. Okay.
Yeah, I have more.
Yeah, so that's why I zeroed it out. I was wondering. Okay. So Lucar is going to come with the Baneberry Thune here, coming for a swing. They are going to come down onto the white creature here. With their first swing. 17 is going to be successful. Magical weapon here. It deals a total of 19 points of slashing damage. It vanquishes that creature. Then Lucar lets off a minor roar here. Begins to press themselves forward, wrapping around as best as they can to about 30 feet here. They then... Let me see spell-wise. I don't think I have much of anything. That's not concentrated.
They have Misty Step. I know that.
Yeah, but I don't know if they would use it respectively right now. Not many avenues of positioning here. So they instead, I'm going to have them retcon movement based. I don't think they would Misty Step quite yet. I don't think that's what Steven would do. I think Steven would just take cover at that point, seeing two of the fireballs come through. And try to say, hey, I'm going to try to get some cover. And then make my move with a dash, perhaps. All right, Tegan, you're up next.
All right, Tegan, after hearing the first and experiencing the second fireball, he's going to get the fuck out of there. So it's 15. And honestly, another 15. 70 feet. I don't think that is gonna be.
Oh yeah, what about the firewall?
Still
I
there.
mean, it's there as long as I concentrate on it. I more or less kept it there so we wouldn't have to fight from both sides.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can really do is take a hand crossbow shot at disadvantage at the wraith or whatever the black thing is in front of me.
A white
All the way
wraith,
over
yeah.
yonder.
Yeah, go ahead and hold down control and fire away.
Sorry, my targeting thing was being a little weird.
Whatever has to do with your ping always being 300 plus.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Could
right.
possibly
20!
be that
You
would
hit!
say.
You hit,
Nice.
Tegan!
Hell
Let's
yeah.
go!
Now, the hand crossbow is a plus
6
1.
damage.
This is a magical weapon, so 6 points of piercing damage is dealt. As it lands.
I
And
think
no one could see it because there's a wall of fire in the way.
I did it!
Lucar could see it, kind of.
No, not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Lucar can't see it. Lucar's no one can see it.
Oh.
I imagine
Don't
me
have-
shooting it and it like hitting in the back of its where its calf would be, and I'm just like, "Fuck yeah!" And then it turns around and looks at me. I'm like, "Fuck no!" And then yeah, that'll be it.
Thanos, you're up next. Your visibility ruined.
I'm upset. I don't even know what to do at this point. I'm just gonna
It's fly everywhere.
I'm gonna go 5 foot here, 5 foot here, see everything, and I'm actually going to shoot the skull in the back of the room.
Okay.
However,
Distance-wise for the crossbow, let me see. I think you're at 80 feet there.
yeah, I have sharpshooter, so it
He's
should
got
be fine.
sharpshooter.
Yeah, I'm just looking at max range for the hand crossbow. Should be good.
Yep. I am going to actually use Zephyr Strike.
Wow, that's like a first.
Yeah. I mean, not really. It's more I need to walk further because I need to get to the darkness on the other side.
Right. So as your attack comes through here, Zephyr Strike, additional damage on the weapon attack. So 15. So it rolled a weapon attack for you, but I don't think that's all of the modifiers
No,
associated.
it didn't roll the actual damage. for
Yeah.
some
So
reason.
regardless of that, looking at the armor class of the creature, sure, because you're targeting the one in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that motherfucker just throw up a shield? Rude.
They did. They threw up a shield. It is going to hit with your modifiers on that roll. So I will tell you because your modifiers, I've ran through them. It will hit. So go ahead and roll. I have 6 points of the force damage with the Zephyr Strike, and then you need to
Okay.
roll your other weapon damage attack.
Yep, so I'll just click it and put an arrow back.
Okay. So coming through there, additional 23 plus the 6 is 29. All right, let me calculate damage here real quick. So 6 points of force damage comes through flat through the shield, but your piercing damage is resisted. Even though it's
Oh, no.
magical, it's all piercing damage. Then only
That's
deals
true.
11 points, but that is enough. As you do, you're able to club it directly in the center point of the skull. Even though it's shielded, throwing itself anticipation, the reaction comes through, hits into it, explodes, and shatters the skull.
Okay. And then question for you to Thanos: do these rocks here look sturdy enough to like walk? Like if I wanted to walk over to this other
They
side?
are sturdy, they're rough and tumbling, it's difficult terrain. So
Okay.
I don't I'm not sure if you have the feature yet at your ranger level, but you might have it where you can go over difficult terrain. At
Is
this
that what
point.
Landstride does?
I think that's Landstride. Yep. Do you have it?
Yeah, that would be level 8. Let me double check that's what that does before I... Yeah, moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra.
There you go. So you can move over this normally.
Alright, so then I'm going to do 5, 10, 15... And then I get the extra 10 from Zephyr, so I'm actually going to walk into the darkness here. Up against this pillar, and then I will target the other flaming skull for my next attack.
Okay.
Or not.
Trying to measure light sources here. So you're 40 feet away, so you're still in the light. You're on the edge of the light. So you're still
Yep.
dim. So it's going to be a flat roll for you because you took the advantage on the Zephyr as well as the damage on the last strike here. So 8 is going to be a miss. Fire it off, trying to hit that small target. It's too much. You're just going to fly the bolt off into the darkness.
Yep, that's fine. And I will end my turn on this north side.
Ending turn, we come to this ghost who's now kind of surrounded by the flaming sphere. It is going to go in for a swing in direction of the skull. As it comes through, 12 is unable to hit the skull. As it kind of just comes through, wildly swing for the small target that misses. Ending turn. Then it's going to be burned by the fire, and it takes 5 points of fire damage as it is able to resist that. Now, we come to this creature who is hit by the bolt, turns its direction and looks towards Tegan.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Guys.
buddy, it's okay. We don't.
Looks towards you and it fires off a bolt of energy at disadvantage for being in melee range. This is a ranged attack. Disadvantage 7, so it fires it off at you, Tegan. Tegan, you're able to kind of duck out of the way of it. So it lands and sparkles through. Then turns its attention back towards the ghost and ends its turn. Alright, more swings coming out from these ghosts. Their war hammers and their shields yelling outwards into the air. 22 is going to successfully strike in. As it does, it deals only 8 points of necrotic from the 17, so the white is able to resist. Rinse and repeat. Here we go. Working together in unison, 21 is able. Now they're really getting some work done to this white. They're bringing it down. The white is barely in its incorporeal form. It's barely there as much as a shadow. Maldor, it's now your turn, giving off the light source. What do we do?
I sprint straight towards Thanos. No. So the Echo will take his movement. And we're going to bonus action rope-a-dope.
I love how you call it rope-a-dope.
Which costs me 15
I prefer
movement,
blip
so
blip.
I should be able to
Yeah, flip, flip.
get here. And let me, well, the Echo will disappear, but I'll deal with that after the turn. Yeah, he's going to attack the skull.
Okay. What? It's 12. You are unable to swing through and get a good connection. The small, tiny target come through. The axe swings wildly as the skull is just bobbling around, cackling at you. Going through for another attack here. 14 is going to ring out. Unfortunately, with the shield applied, the 14 is not going to be enough to hit. So as you come through, the shield braces into the bubble, and then it pulls itself back.
Well, that's rude. And that will end his turn.
Seeing the source of light, the white now looks towards you, Maldor. As it does, it goes in for a touch.
I will do something similar and cast Shield.
What does that put your AC at? 26.
26.
You see as it takes its hand and touches into the shield, kind of hisses and pulls itself back, unable to swing and get a good touch and connection. It then ends its turn, and it is going to take some fire damage. In fact, takes a total of 7 points of fire damage as it's burned from the flaming sphere from its skull here. Now, the skull is going to see surrounded as it does. It then opens up its mouth and it fires a fireball off directly underneath it. So it does fire explodes outwards.
Take advantage of that immunity.
It did not prompt me for a save.
Okay, if that's the case, go ahead and roll it manually. Dexterity saving throw. I don't think it's prompting anybody for saving throws here, so it could have bugged out on the work order, so not a big deal there. 17 dex save. I'm going to roll 2 dex saves for these creatures. Looks like the white got a natural 20. Ghost did not. The ghost is able to resist the fire damage and only take 14. And you, Maldor, take 14 points of fire damage. Successfully kind of get out of the way, bracing yourself against the immediate. The natural 20 comes through, and that's going to be 14. So everything is either a resisted or saved. And that is going to be the end of the skull's turn. It does not move outside of your reach. Now, as we end the skull's turn, we're going to come into a point here that I want to make, and we can definitely kind of retcon that if you would like, Maldor. The reason why I say that is I'm not going to retcon, I should say. That's a poor wording. If you were to have an attack that Sentinel would trigger upon the ghost, because the ghost is now attacking the same enemy or enemies as you, you can actually take your Sentinel or the ghost as well. So just not retconning, I'm just making that was a whole poor words. Just stating, I should say, that for the future of the combat here with the ghosts, you can activate your Sentinel if that is an opportunity. So we're now at the top of round 3. Zeph, you're up.
All right.
Except for he already took his reaction.
Yeah, this turn I couldn't do it anyway.
How far can I actually get? I don't think from that angle I can. I don't think I can even still see that shadow, right? With the flame.
No, you cannot. Nope.
Which, can I see any of them at this point? No, not with columns in the way either. Yeah, would. The flame wall went up after or before it went over there, right? So I would actually know it's there, right?
The flame wall went up, and you do observe that there was 2 creatures on the northern side of the flame wall. You have an understanding that one of them has not emerged from the wall, and you heard the sounds of shrieking from another one, but you do not know that that creature exists in that current position, that side.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll move this straight over as far as I can, but I can't do a whole lot. I guess I'm gonna have to dash just to get inside of anything, but I won't be able to do anything, unfortunately. I'll actually stay right here.
Okay. All right, mono e mono. Here we go. Let's see who's gonna win. The fight of the century: Ghost versus White. 18 hits the ghost. Right. Deals 10 to its total HP. Bring it down 23 total hit points. Ending its turn. The ghost then comes back and retaliates. Swinging away. 11 misses. The ghost is not looking so hot right now. Very strip next ghost.
I will drop the flame wall so it'll just out. And then seeing, I'll take like a survey of it, but I more or less wanted to spread out is why I dropped it. So I'll take my movement over here and I will firebolt the one that they're currently shield walding.
Okay. So 17 is going to hit. And that deals a total of 12 points of fire damage. As you do it, Cease kind of hits into the bolt, sucks and absorbs the shroud in a world-like effect. Kind of vanishes for a brief moment, and the light's gone.
And then I'll take the last 10 feet of my movement to lean up on this column and be like, ooh, this is going well. And in my turn.
All right, ending turn. We now come to Lucar. Lucar is going to bounce out of cover here 5 feet and then begin to run up with a dash. So we get about 25 here. And then we're going to have it go into a flanking position with the ghost. That's going to be the end of its turn. Taking it up next.
I think I'm just gonna take a full 60-foot dash. Probably right there. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right,
So
Thanos.
what
You're
what
up,
is all
and
giving
you
off
are-
light?
You're technically invisible now. It's not their move.
Oh.
So
Sweet. Then I don't have to move. Thanks, Maldor.
Got you.
I will shoot the skull.
all right, so 17 is going to hit here. It takes 10 points of damage. It's able to resist all piercing damage. It does kind of glances onto the skull.
Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot it some more. Why not?
20 is going to hit as well. And that deals 22, so 11 points of piercing damage. It's still alive. Once, twice. Breaking into its skull. Still up, cackling.
And stupid skull. I hate it. It made light. I'm gonna take my bonus action, hand crossbow, expert shot at it as well.
It's going to be a 17, which is going to hit. And that deals a total of 19 to 8 piercing damage to do. The last one, as it's cackling, it lands directly in the center of its mouth, explodes at the back end. The skull explodes. Flying sphere
You just
dissipates.
hear a light cheer from a random corner of the room, and I will end my turn.
Yay!
All right.
More lights.
The ghost turns, looks towards you, Maldor, begins to speak Dwarvish. You don't recognize. It does. It forms a shield, kind of pushing up towards you to almost like group of shields together. It goes at 19, is going to hit. Deals 6 points of necrotic damage. Hitting its turn. I was fearing that. Looks like Saving Sphere still somewhat exists in some other world.
A different plane.
Different plane of existence. Let me see if I can get rid of the effect on the dead token, and that might have a good effect. Okay. Now the two in the shield wall, they're going to actually go back and forth with each other. I'm going to have them begin to hover over themselves to get in the direction of this, and then I'm going to go for 2 d20 rolls just flat, and then I'll roll damage if they hit. Okay, it looks like both are going to hit. They're successful to do 18 points of necrotic damage, gripping themselves together, yelling out Dwarvish, "Shield wall! Shield wall!" Tegan, you're able to hear that. Then they go for a couple different strikes, dealing the necrosis damage to that white. Maldor, you're up next.
All right, taking the cue from the dwarf who's clearly cooperating, he will step in position for a flank and attack the last one here.
22 is going to successfully strike with the advantage. 31 total points of damage as it does. It comes through. Now, magical is this Dragon Slaying Great Axe, the Dark Steel, is able to rip it to shreds as it does comes through. It slices into the creature, gets pulled and whirled, and then dissipates.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll take the last of his movement, and can I split my attacks since I only used one?
That's correct. Yep. As long as
Yeah.
you take the attack action, you can make the swings.
Yeah, and then get that one.
Okay, come from the flank using the dwarf ghost here. 15 is going to hit. Getting a really good reroll there, it looks like. You're able to
Nice.
come through and absolutely destroy that one. As you come through, splintering it into the shrapnel and shrouds, we now are going to go ahead and end combat. But as I pause it here, to finish combat and Source of Life, Mulder, before you're able to end it in the dim light coming through, you now get to see all around you are little blinking lights from dozens upon dozens of the same skulls that you face, shadows emerging in that light. You see immediately as the ghosts begin to yell in Dwarvish, this way, to you, and you're able to understand them, and they begin to, one after the other, begin to pile into a hole that sits at the center of the elevator shaft. And as they pile into the hole, they disappear one after the other as they jump.
Where are they going?
Follow them. Follow them.
Oh, okay.
I suspect it's about to get very busy up here.
Pretty lights.
So don't need to move your tokens. Just have to ask, is anybody not going down into the hole?
Deacon's gonna
My
hold.
spiritual
them.
weapon's not going down the hole.
Deacon's going down.
Nope,
It's
I'm just
going
gonna
down.
make sure that I can fly down with my cloak after all the light's gone, because I don't trust these guys anymore. They keep running into me. They keep turning me uninvisible. I'm over it. Thanos is just gonna take a career at this point.
Invisible guy, mad
We
that
just-
people can't see him and run
We
into
just want to
him.
be able to see you, man. We miss you.
I just find it funny that both of you walked to the right up to me and then used your light spells. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right,
You
so
will?
the spiritual weapon will end, as well as the Twilight Sanctuary at this point on this descent here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those effects. The actual vision from your 1 hour is going to still last as you make your descent. Eventually, the ghosts are kind of disappearing out of sight. And after about 25, 30 minutes or so of this descent, there's many foot and handholds here. I'm not going to prompt anyone for a check. You really can just like brace your back against it. It seems like this is a part that's very naturally formed. In fact, the way that everything's going to fall together, it's going to just has this shaft here that you're able to work with and zigzag a little bit through, squeezing yourself in pockets. You then begin to fill into a space, as Maldori probably end the light spell at this point, so you're not attracting the undead creatures into the hole. Thanos, you are taking the advantage with no light. Then you begin to fly down. I'll have you be in the forefront of the foray here, and you enter into a kind of a space where the hole actually ends. The ghost's no longer there with you. You now kind of land yourself down, and this is a very much a tight space. It's very kind of moving yourself. You have to kind of crouch downwards, even as a small-sized creature, so you're kind of on your hands and knees at this point. And you're having to shimmy and shovel yourself outwards into a corridor or a tunnel of some kind with rock and loose stone, pickaxes with bits and materials lay around it, as well as a wheelbarrow of some kind. It seems that something has built a corridor or a tunnel to get to this point and then attempted to tunnel up, but they have yet to be entirely successful clearing away this massive amounts of rubble without causing a cave-in of some kind. So you all are taking advantage of that, getting yourself down into this space. There's no noise, nothing that you can hear or see as you are able to crawl down and look in the direction of east down the tunnel, except for the fact that it kind of bends and turns in the direction of southeast. Thanos, obviously you're up ahead, so the description comes to you first as you kind of floated yourself downwards. But again, there wasn't much fly that you could do there because you were very tight, so you still had to work with the environment around you.
I will cast Pass Without a Trace for everybody. And as they all kind of come down, I'm going to tell everyone to just move quietly since it seems there are others down here.
I'm gonna go up to Lucar and tap him on the back and slap him with a little cure wounds.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a.
All right, so 10 being applied to Lucar, so kind of bandaging, getting yourselves out. I'm going to have Lucar move about 20 feet to get outside of this area. You both, as far as Tegan and Zeph, you both can kind of move your tokens into the tunnel. Again, it's kind of like one after the other type deal as you're kind of moving into space, but it's open that you can kind of move and get yourself. It's not a comfortable space. You don't want to be in that area. Thanos, you being invisible in the darkness, you then round the corner from southeast as it makes another direction of east, and snaking itself. You see a large orbous creature with a central eye at its center with multiple eye tentacles erased. Many of them are kind of dazed and kind of what you version would be grayed out. Their necrosis flesh all around them. The tongue kind of lays outwards, the teeth there, and just kind of sits there open, laying upon the ground.
Oh, this will be fun.
Unpaused.
I'm going to stealth backwards, so I'm actually going to roll an active stealth check. Yeah, we're going to walk back to the party real quick. I guess.
That's a horrible roll for healing it.
It was awful. Yeah.
But to say, why did it heal so little?
So you remember when we got the sword for Lucar, the big floaty eye thing?
Right.
There's
Valrugal. Yes,
Beholder?
it was quite nice.
yeah, there's another one. I think it might be dead, undead. It's floating. It's still
Didn't he tell us all of his comrades had gone to work with Demida?
yeah. That's why I figured I would let you guys know that there's a big floating undead one up ahead, and we should be ready to kill it. I can
Undead?
surprise it. I mean, it looks undead. It looks like it's half dead or something. I don't know.
Let's go
Its
find
tongue
out.
is hanging out like it's an idiot. So
How far down was it?
all the way around this next little corner here. Just walk around that corner there.
So, Maldor, as you round the corner, you can see the creature blocking the path as the actual tunnel continues in the eastern direction past it. You can kind of see that with your dark vision, and it goes further than your dark vision allows, so greater than 300 feet, with the advantages from the twilight here. You can see that the creature is large enough that it's actually blocking the tunnel. The ceiling height of this is ranging from about 8 to 9 feet, and the orb is just kind of squishing itself a little bit, and might be able to rise itself up and straight itself, but it seems to be almost intentionally placed here as a block of some kind, and it's just kind of sitting there. Now, staring at it a little bit more, Thanos, you as well, peeking around the corner, it does appear to have a slight motion to it, which indicates that it is alive in some regard. It's not detected your passive stealth. Unpaused.
Well, let's test this theory that it's undead. Maldor will reach out his hand and try to use his gift to command it and just tell it, turn the other direction and kill anything you find.
All right. So, pink and purple cackling lightning being just sprout from your eyes, stretching around a beam in the center direction, and strikes into the creature. Please make a charisma check.
Check.
Correct.
Boom!
Let's fucking go, Maldor.
Forgot
It
you
does
had that
begins-
ability.
Rise up about a foot off the ground, filling its space, squishing, and then turns into the other direction and then begins to move in a hover, moaning all the way.
Path is clear.
That's fucking awesome.
As
It
that,
doesn't look
might be
very.
more.
as that happens, and the creature begins to hover away, finish your last thoughts because we are going to go ahead and end the session before we get into anything else.
Outdoor. That tree deal is fucking
Damn.
coming through.
Why are you so
Well.
dark, Varys?
I just need to turn on the light in my room.
It's part of his in-game arc. He's in the darkest timeline.
That's
Yeah.
just dark.
Embracing
Varys
the
right
dark
now.
side.
This is a accurate
Version.
representation of Varys' depression right now.
Do
Yo,
your
where
monitor
the fuck
not
the eye
get
thing
any
go?
light off?
Well,
when we
the whole screen
started,
is mostly
it was
black
1
right now.
o'clock in the afternoon, so it was light outside. It is now 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is getting dark.
Yes. Well, it was not without cost, so we might as well make use of it when we can.
Right.
Apparently sworn my eternal soul to a tree or something.
My only concern though is if you said kill anything from that side, if we try to pass by it, then it's going to try to kill us, right?
Right. I recommend staying behind it.
Mhm. Sounds good.
So finishing our last thoughts, you begin to press on ahead at the back side of this creature, saying to kill anything that's on the right. Head east. This is the command it was provided. It seems to be in a charm-like state. Perhaps giving it another command at your disposal will happen. So it's up in the air. You're not entirely sure. This is really a guess and check process and seeing what exactly your gift is providing you. But it definitely seems like it's charmed, right? It's not engaging you. It's following your commands verbally and begins to hover, going into the darkness. You all moving at its backside. What lies ahead in a hidden bore-like tunnel, the shaft, so this tunnel leads up to an elevator shaft that's been ruined and destroyed, is unknown to you all. You have no idea what you're all getting yourselves into here in terms of what lies ahead, but you're here. And that's all that matters. We're adventuring. We're spelunking, people.
Dungeon crawl.
Unfortunately, what's above you is not good because there is a fuck ton of undead.
Oh, we
in
can
this
take 'em.
place. So
Why didn't you use that on the skull?
We could run away.
I thought about it, but there were several, and I wanted to hit them.
It's not fun
Fair.
commanding things. I like to hit them.
That thing scares me significantly more than any tiny floating skull, no matter the amount of spells it can cast.
Yes,
It is. It is very scary.
I'm going to go ahead and calculate experience points so you all can talk amongst yourselves freely now. And
Oh, also, it's a minor thing that doesn't really impact gameplay or anything, but there is does seem to be a small gap in the wall over here.
Oh yeah, the light beams.
Yeah,
yeah, that's just a problem with Foundry because I made a wall that's like not specifically diagonal. So that's like a normal thing.
So, depending how deep this goes, by the way, guys, we may run into a problem.
May?
What is that?
I may run out of crossbow bolts.
Have you not been
How'd you make
buying?
them?
It's a good thing I've got like 30 in here that I barely use.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
went
well,
through, 15, 20 upstairs? 15?
That is a lot of crossbow bolts.
I mean,
Didn't we just buy like 5,000 and
We
And
bought
a fort or
40
something?
before we went into the marsh. I used a bunch in the marsh, and now we have...
why did you only buy
To be
50?
fair, I told you to buy more.
I didn't know that we were going on an epic adventure. I thought we were just going on a regular
We
adventure.
were going into marshes that were halfway into another plane. What?
That was
You literally
your
came from
vengeance
there.
quest. You went to avenge your entire life story with 40 crossbow bolts.
I mean, I already had 20-something, so I was like 60. That should be plenty. Like, how many
Uh-huh.
things really need to die?
You have a
In the
list.
marshes, basically everything.
I do have a list. My list includes 3 people.
How many did you waste on pixies
What?
when you were killing the 5,000 pixies? You burned some crossbow bolts.
I wasted 1 crossbow bolt. Well, 2. Because I shot 1 out of the air.
It doesn't matter.
I feel
Yeah,
like
look at-
12 pixies for 2 crossbow bolts is not a bad trade.
Except when they get brought back to life.
Immediately
So
after.
it was kind of 0 pixies in the grand scheme of things.
It was just really funny being like, "Hey,
Also,
Thanos, why don't you
I'd like
stop
to
shooting
formally-
pixies?"
I'd like
No.
to formally apologize. I don't think we were in a volcano.
Cool.
Remains to
You
be
don't know
seen.
that yet.
all right, so you have 1,789 experience each, which you had 42,273 experience total.
That was a big.
Fuck those skulls, by the way. Being resistant to my goddamn piercing damage.
That's also why you burned like 40 arrows, because
Hey, I was hitting my shots, though.
No, yeah.
Well, they're
you
like
did.
they're like a skeleton creature. It's kind of the same thing. Fire
Yeah.
and arrow to skeleton. They're gonna have immunity, a resistance to piercing. It doesn't matter if it's magical or not. It's all piercing. So. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna close it out. So if you're watching the stream, thanks so much. We really appreciate it for our New Year's Eve special. Whoa!
Yay!
Yeah. Happy
That was pretty
Happy
cool.
New Year's to everyone.
Happy New Year's.
Good session 30 there. And hopefully join us again next week. We go for session 31 and
Next year.
Ill Fate. Yeah, next year. We'll see you in the new year. I haven't heard that joke before.
Right.
So
You're
you
gonna hear it a
don't
lot
year
for the next
ago.
12 hours. Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
So see you next
Um,
year.
Yeah, see you next year.
Joke was
join,
really fresh.
um,
Well, this is the
join
first.
it. Yeah, exactly. Fresh. I mean, we'll keep it fresh, right?
We keep
No,
it fresh
um,
over here.
Yeah, keep it fresh over here. So yeah, join us next week. Follow up, and then there's other groups you can always watch Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, but this will be it for us for the weekend. I don't have any other group. The Wayward Ones are playing this afternoon, evening, and then the Nameless Fellowship is playing tomorrow for the holidays. So, yeah, have a good time, everyone. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you later. So, bye.
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 Bye.